And we're live. Good evening, everybody. Or 8 of you, anyway.
7.
I got 8 here.
One of them's you.
That little like that. Yeah, sounds good. Pictures working. Well, it's saying 6 up here now. That's YouTube. Well, how are we all? I know everybody's going to be cold.
I've got sound.
Yeah, it came up on my feed up here. But yeah, I didn't think we were supposed to get snow this far down the country, but obviously they were right about the snow. They just got it wrong about where it was going to happen.
I'm sorry. We told you on Sunday it was going to be snowy Tuesday morning.
Yeah. Let's go over to that cam for now, see how long that one keeps going. I'll have to plug up there if it does go do-dally. Marines, good evening. Stitch, Jenny, Mrs. W, obviously. Hello.
Hello.
Well, the snow seems to have gone here, but we've got a frost outside already. JW, good evening. Well, what a week it's been so far. I won't be doing too much typing. My eyes are playing up. I forgot to bring that up at the doctor's yesterday. I had so much to talk to them about. But yeah, GPs. What a strange one I saw yesterday. No, where I go, it's actually a practice, so you could see one of any number of GPs. But yesterday I ended up with a very strange woman.
Is it called a practice because they're all learning?
Well, I fucking hope not. Mind you, looking at her yesterday, as soon as I walked in, I thought, well, we're going to have some fun here because she had a bloody face nappy on. I sat in the chair and I couldn't hear a fucking word she was saying. So I moved the chair a bit closer to a table and she's like moved away into the corner. I'm like, what the fuck are you frightened of? And obviously she had looked at my notes because she said, oh, you're not jabbed. So we had a little bit of a discussion about that. She didn't know half the things that most of us do, apparently. She said, no, it's good for you, it's good for you. I said, no, it fucking ain't. I said, we've looked into it. We know the horror stories now. And she said, well, we've got all the data on it. I said, well, you've got the wrong data. I said, there is a video out there, I said, from the ex-CEO of Pfizer that tells you exactly what the problems are with it. I said, and the other problems with it during lockdown, I said, I know firsthand, I said, because my partner's daughter works in a funerals director. And I pointed out to the fact that all these deaths that were happening weren't. There were a few, but there were no more than usual. Basically, because people were locked up at home, there weren't as many road accidents and what have you like that, and work accidents, obviously, which a lot of them used to be fatal, unfortunately. So it kind of balanced out, but there wasn't any real excess then. That started afterwards. And obviously, we still haven't got the official numbers on that. I don't think we ever will, but they're still high. I will say that. But yeah, this little GP just didn't have a fucking clue. Didn't have a clue. The only thing that's being checked out at the moment is she's going to sort me out and book me in for some x-rays and scans to check on the arthritis in my neck and my spine. Absolutely useless. But there we go. That's what we get nowadays with the National Health, isn't it? I mean, I can't blame the ones in the hospitals. They're doing what they can, but GPs could do a whole lot better. A whole lot better. Concentrate on people's problems that they're coming in with rather than creating new ones, shall we say. But that's just my experience. I've got to go back on Friday. But that's the, stroke clinic. That's not, but I have got to have some blood tests that day as well. Apparently she wants to see some of my blood. I said, well, give me a blade. I said, I'll give you some now, But what's what else we got going on? Oh yeah. Now, when I first started my channel, I always said I wasn't going to, go mental. I didn't want a big, huge channel. Good evening, Gordo. And lurkers, obviously. Thank you, Jen. I was quite happy with, I'm happy with what I got now. It'd be nice to have a few more. But right back at the beginning, I big upped a lot of channels that were out there that I used to watch. I used to promote them in my videos. I'd give them a mention in the videos as well if I felt they'd earned it with something they'd put out or it was something that I was talking about. Now I did another little experiment again, beginning of this week and the end of last week, just to see if any of these channels watch what I do as much as I watch what they do. And I did this last year as well. I literally sneak a few things in the video that I wouldn't class as fact, but they're not outright lies.
Theories.
Or I put something in a certain way and I'll mention something in a story that nobody else has mentioned. And believe me, I do look. And lo and behold, there's 3 or 4 channels that I've spotted. One almost using part of it word for word. I won't name any names because I don't do that sort of thing. But yeah.
I might on Friday.
It would. No, don't, please.
I'm not going to.
But, it would be nice if someone's using my ideas or something like that or something I found out. It'd be nice if they gave me credit for it. There you go. That's YouTube, isn't it? And most of these channels are monetized as well, by the way, which I'm not. But yeah, the farmers. Tuesday. Yeah. The Met reckoned there was 13,000 turned up in London despite the weather. Obviously, there was other protests around the country as well in various cities and towns, and tractors going up and down various roads, slowing the traffic up. So all in all, a good turnout. But apparently now, if you're a farmer, right, Taffy, if you're a farmer and you support the farmers, you're far right again now. You don't have to be out on the streets being involved in riots or raving a Union Jack around. You just need to support the farmers, and they're classing you as far right. Scar, good evening, mate. Absolutely fucking ridiculous. It really is. But the clip I showed in the video yesterday of Starmer saying he used to be a farmer, Starmer the farmer, or should we call him Conrad Farmer? Good evening, Karen. Yeah, he got a little bit upset with it all. He's getting a bit flustered from afar, obviously, because he's in Brazil. And we know how he doesn't like to be in this country to face the music. Personally, I think he's frightened of facing the public. And again, personally, I think the public should give him shit no matter where he goes. You know, if he's in a shop, a pub, something like that, tell him exactly what you think of him and his government. But yeah, he shouldn't even be allowed in public, that bloke. Absolutely. And then with today, in the House, they were debating on the military, our military. Now, obviously, we've got quite a bit of equipment mothballed that isn't in service. A lot of it could be repaired. A lot of it could just need a service and one or two bits to be usable again. As I say, Russia's been doing it all the way through their little scrap with the Ukraine. They fucked up all their good stuff and they started resurrecting the old stuff. Yeah, I'd love to bump into him, Stitch. Can you imagine? He wouldn't get away with giving it bullshit from any questions from me. You either answer the questions or you fuck off. But yeah, they're going to scrap a lot of this military equipment. They're actually going to do away with some of the military, some of the units. They're going to break them up, integrate them in other units. And the other thing is, through all the military, because people are leaving, they're actually going to start bribing them to stay in the service. From what I understand, particularly engineers, ships engineers, electricians, and probably officers. You know, the grunts down the line, they ain't going to get nothing. They don't give a fuck there. I believe this is all going to be edging towards the European army. I do believe. I think that's where it's going to end up. We know he wants that. He wants to be part of that. But they're getting that far involved now with Ukraine and Russia. And Russia has apparently started using some of our missiles as well as America's. So basically, we should be on a war footing, as far as I'm concerned. Putin has threatened us. He hasn't said a fucking word. We haven't had a word about what we should be doing. Should we be looking out for things? Should we be prepared for things? Nah, not a dicky bird. Middle name must be turned. Yes, I mean, the bloke can't answer questions. Unless he's been asked a question a day before where he can pre-prepare an answer, it's pointless. He just, like the woman in the pub that time, he just sits there. He's flustered. He doesn't even know how to talk to people unless it's scripted. I mean, he is such a dick. It is unbelievable. You know, he can't say anything off the top of his head. You know, he's got to have it written down for him.
Unless it's 22 billion deficit.
Oh yeah, that's the easy one to remember. As long as they remember to mention the £22 billion deficit in the budgets, in the finances. They stopped using it for a little while, but they're back to using it again now. That's always the answer for everything. You know, I'm not disagreeing. with the fact that, oh, there goes that fucking camera already. That lasted well tonight, didn't it? Oh, come on, you bloody thing. Yeah, that lasted well. It lasted for nearly 3 hours on Friday. But hey, we'll go with this one. Well, yeah, they did leave him a mess. I'll admit that. There was a lot of fuck-ups from the Tories. But most of it, this lot have created themselves, or they've made what the Tories left them worse, as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, so basically, not only now have we got no real border force, we can't keep our borders safe, we can't even keep the country safe because we're not going to have the equipment, well, we haven't got it now, to protect our island anymore. Unbelievable. No, exactly, Jen. No one on that front bench can answer questions. I mean, we know Parliament question times, PM's question times. Well, it shouldn't. It should be called Rayner question times now, shouldn't it? Because Starmer's never fucking there anymore. They get given the questions that they're going to ask, and they got pre-prepared answers. They probably don't even write them themselves. And the same with the open debates. Now, they are given, again, what the people are going to say, what the opposition are going to say. They're given notes on these because you can't ask a question without it going through due process, as they say. You can't surprise them with any questions. To me, that's not a debate. You know, if you're debating, you don't have bits of paper in front of you. You don't have folders in front of you. Someone has a question in their head, they're asked the question, and you debate it. It's like doing a quiz and using the internet, isn't it, to answer all the questions. Fucking ridiculous. But again, going back to where was I? The war settings. Sorry, guys, my memory's still playing up. It gets bad at times. On the war footings and with the snow and that we've had now, what happened to this text alert thing that cost millions to set up, where everybody got alerts and texts over their phones? As far as I can remember, they did one test and that's it. A lot of people turned the system off if they could. Some of us are lucky enough to have old enough phones where the system wouldn't work on ours. A lot of the, what would you call them, utility suppliers, apparently their transmitters it wouldn't work on. But that was the last we heard of it. They spent millions on that, setting it up. And now it just looks like it's been thrown by the wayside.
But we haven't had an emergency that they needed to tell us about.
Well, they were going to give us weather warnings, storm warnings, all that sort of thing.
Well, weather hasn't been that bad.
Oh, really? We haven't had the storms in the last 2 years and the floods. Think about it. This was back just after the pandemic. You're looking 4 years ago, 3-4 years ago. They gave one alert. That was it. And ever since then, there's been nothing. There's plenty of things they said they were going to use it for that they could have done. But no, nothing at all. But yeah, I mean, it's absolutely fucking ridiculous. What else did I notice today? 'Cause most of it I've covered in the videos during the week so far. Oh yeah, apparently Jaguar are going electric. All electric, I'm led to believe, with a change of the logo. It's not not going to be a Jaguar anymore. Apparently, it's just going to be a couple of squiggles. So there's another British icon that's going down the pan. You know, there's car companies all around the world that are openly said they're stopping building EVs. It's not viable. They're not making money on it. People aren't buying them. And then we got someone like Jaguar that's going to go over to them. It's an absolute fucking joke. It really is. Absolute piss take. But anyway, that's... Oh, yeah. Now, this one really pissed me off. Changing the Christmas pantos. Been a tradition in this country for as long as I can remember, ever since I was a kid.
Oh, no, it hasn't.
Oh, yes, it has. I remember even at primary school, we used to get taken to a panto every year till it got too expensive and they started putting one on themselves. Both my kids, when they were young, went to pantos. It's a kind of a tradition. But now they want to wipe out any reference to Christmas. Why? So it doesn't offend the Muslims. Okay, that's fine. Muslims don't want to enjoy our celebration. Some do. Some do. But on the whole, they don't celebrate it. But we're supposed to change our way of life to accommodate them. Good evening, Loafer. If that's the case, then I'm going to start being offended by some of their festivals and some of their traditions. I've never moaned about them before, but I shall complain about them. I shall moan about them.
Where the hell is the reference to Christmas in Jack and the Beanstalk?
Well, when you go to the party, it's always around Christmas time, and there's always the reference for the kids about Christmas in them. Not in the films, but in the pantos.
All right.
But no, they're free to have their celebrations. You know, we can't say anything about them because that would be fucking racist, wouldn't it? It's the fuck's on my jumper there? That side, isn't it? Is that a dead bug? Oh, bit of biscuit. Oh fuck! I've lost where I was now. I went off tack there, didn't I? What was I saying?
Bit of biscuit.
No, before that.
Okay.
Oh yeah, Wales.
You haven't got that far.
Yeah, I was just going to talk about Labour down in Wales, Jen. You know, first of all, it was the countryside's too white. So the countryside's racist. And then walking your dog could be classed as racist. But now the Welsh government, in their fucking infinite wisdom and wokeness, want Wales to change their culture so other creeds, breeds, religions, minorities can feel part of the countryside. To that, I would say, get fucked. If they want to come to this country, if they want to change their ways to integrate into the country, fine. But we should not change our country to accommodate them. If somebody wants to say that's racist, then go a fucking head. I'm a racist. But that is fact. We should not have to change a fucking thing to accommodate them. Amroth, good evening, Matt. Yeah, exactly, mate. You know, they don't like dogs. So dogs are fucking racist. You know, I dare say some of the religions don't mind eating them, but there you go. Loafer's being chased around with the rolling pin again. Fair enough. Get her a plastic one, Loafer. But yeah, why should we have to change our culture to accommodate them? You know, this country, it is literally fucked. It really is. But hopefully, Starmer and his bunch of assholes ain't going to last much longer, from what I'm seeing. Whether they're going to force him out, I mean, is it going to take a civil fucking uprising to remove him? Yeah, I'm not happy about it, Matt. Believe me, mate, with the shit they're coming out with. You know, they can have their celebrations. You know, there was one, I can't remember where it was now, one village. It was actually in England. It wasn't in Wales. Where they stopped ringing the church bells because 2 Muslim families in the village complained about it. They felt aggrieved about it. Well, what about when they got these fucking great big PA system blaring out their fucking shit before prayer? Yeah? What happens if we complain about that? Oh, no, you're racist. You can't complain about that. Fuck off. Have you seen enough stuff?
If there was anything else like that going on around here, I'd be inclined to get the PA out and start blaring the Stones or something like that.
No, Black Sabbath, Led Zeppelin, all the ones that they used to say was the Antichrist and devil music. Start fucking playing that at full volume. Yeah, fuck them. Yeah, Asda and the other big shop, Stitch. If you know anybody works at them, Tesco's, Marks and Spencer's, they're going to be laying staff off. They're going to get rid of some staff, making cuts, and the prices are going to be going up. This is all to do with Rachel Reeves's budget and the new tax things. Basically, they killed the country financially, and they're going to kill us all in other ways, or at least try. But yeah, I mean, you know, you still got the invasion coming across the channel. The paddlers are still coming. The cold weather doesn't seem to have put them off much. We have a Christmas JCB at work. But yeah, it's our tradition, you know. I'm surprised they let the fucking, well, it's gone all AI now, isn't it? The Coke advert, the traditional lorries. You got Boots that have fucked up with their advert. Yes, Stitch, there's a lot of companies have said this year they're not going to have a Christmas tree in the foyer and, you know, stuff like they traditionally did, you know, or tree in the office. There's one, what company was it? One company in Birmingham told the staff, you're not allowed to decorate your desks, not allowed any decorations on your desks or anything like that. No wearing Christmas hats. Yeah, I used to do that sort of stuff, Jem. Years and years ago, I used to have a mobile disco that I used to do. And I had some new neighbours moved in. It was a semi-detached house. And it was a lad, and he used to have his mates around there all the time. They'd come home from the pub or nightclub, start the music up, right up until the point where I put nearly 3,000 watts against the wall in 2 banks of speakers, fucked off out and put Motorhead on full volume and went out for 2 hours for a walk. They never did it after that. Yeah, it's a lot of the councils where you've got the Labour ones, Matt, they're following orders from above, obviously. Just like they're looking at raising the council taxes again now. Well, we already had a 10% rise this year. We're due for another 10% rise next year because of the way the Birmingham Council fucked up. Yeah, I'd normally get our decorations down sort of beginning of December, Stitch. This year it's going to take me a little bit longer. It's with me breathing and everything else, I've still got to get up in the loft to get them down. But the wall ones are quite easy nowadays. I do use a laser. We've got a laser one that shows it all around the ceiling and that, rather than put hanging stuff up there. But I usually do it all. Heather will go out for a day. She'll go shopping or something. And by the time she comes back, the tree's up. It's decorated.
I was always up there.
Well, you were, yeah, up until last year, wasn't it? Exactly, Stitch.
I can organise a day out. I can go visiting somebody.
Yeah, you can go over Donna's on a Saturday or something. I'll do it while you're over there one Sunday for dinner. Yeah, it's our tradition, Stitch. Christmas. But Wales, it looks like Reform has got the lead in Wales now, Jen. They've overtaken Labour in the polls there. So I think come the local elections next May, there's going to be a big change. Good evening, Tony.
Come the revolution.
Come the revolution, yeah. What was it, Foxy?
Foxy.
Wolfie.
Foxy. Wolfie, Foxy.
The working class can kiss my ass. I got the foreman's job at last.
The people's tooting popular front.
Yeah.
Or some such.
Yeah, working class can kiss my ass. I got the foreman's job at last. No out of work or on the dole. You can shove your red flag up your hole. But I mean, if Starmer had his way, there'd be the fucking hammer and sickle flying above Westminster now anyway, wouldn't there? That's so anyway, that's enough of what's been going on here. What's everybody? Let's get that right. Slow down. What's everybody else been up to? 24 of you watching. Some of those are lurkers, obviously. What's been happening in your worlds? We'll see how long I go on. I might open the panel up again this week if I can stay awake. Oh dear. Oh yes, I did find something out yesterday which I didn't know. I know some of you out there have got the same as me, the COPD. If you're using any of these, in particular the red one with the steroids in, and you use painkillers, it's not compatible with cocodamol. It can cause issues. I did find that out yesterday. All right, Jen, no worries. Yeah, it is, Matt. It is bitterly cold out there. I mean, I went out over an hour ago now, put something in the bin, and the cars were already frozen up and white. So and the sky's clear, so it's going to be a fair old frost tonight. All right, Flyby. I mean, we did have a little bit more snow again last night. It wasn't snowing when we went to bed, but I did notice it had been coming down a bit, and it was frozen this morning. And we haven't had the gritters around here yet. Normally we can see it on the drive when they've been passed, but there's nothing out there.
Maybe they haven't ordered their grit yet.
Could well be. Could well be. Yeah, other Samwell have been gritting. Who else is it?
Samwell always over-order their grit. They've always got tons left.
Well, Birmingham Council on the basically can't probably afford it, can they?
Exactly. But Sandwell's one of the councils that are buying back council houses. Where everybody else has gone, yeah, we'll sell them on. Sandwell are actually turning around and saying, if you've got a council house that you are putting up for sale, they will buy it back and put it back into their portfolio. So, and I think that's very sensible. I don't know.
Well,
Birmingham's not, as far as I know.
Birmingham has got that many run-down and dilapidated buildings that they could repair to put the housing out there, but they haven't got the money to do it. They can't even afford to do the maintenance on the ones with people in. They're in hell of a mess here.
But it's like I said, if you've got no properties to rent out, you've got no income coming in to actually maintain the properties that you've got, or it's.
Well, it's not that. It's they blew all the fucking money on that compensation on the court case, trying to defend the compensation shit. And then when they lost the case, they still had to pay the court fees, and they still had to pay the compensation, and that's where all the money went.
Right. You're doing politician on me.
No, I just look at what's going on and what they're saying.
I was saying they haven't got any income from properties because they've sold them all. They need more properties.
They've got plenty of properties.
Okay, they've got plenty of properties.
That's where all the money's gone, was on that case.
Let's agree to disagree again.
Look it up yourself, darling. I did.
Don't.
Yeah, bed's probably the warmest place, Stitch. I mean, where I am in the corner here, this is actually the coldest spot in the house. It's the furthest away from any of the radiators. It's got a window in front of it and a solid block wall with no cavities. So there's no insulation in it either. Plus, we've got a 2-foot cavity under the floors because we've got wooden floors, not concrete.
But I argue that because this is in the draft from the front door if that door's open.
That's why I did push that door up when I came in. But...
No, I did because I've been out since you came back.
Yeah, we got the heating on, Matt. But I tend not to go out unless I have to. I did walk back from the surgery yesterday simply because I needed to get my muscles moving because of the cramps. And I just wanted to get a bit of fresh air in me. So I knew it was going to take me a while with a couple of rests on the way back. And it's only around the bloody corner. But I forced myself to do it. I don't like electric blankets, Jen. I just get uncomfortable in bed if I'm too warm. I mean, up until last night, I had the bedroom window still cracked open a little bit to get a bit of fresh air in. Yeah, I'm fine, Matt. I just needed to get some fresh air, and that was a perfect excuse. It wasn't raining, and I think Heather kindly dropped me off round there, so I knew I only had to walk one way. And if I got stuck and realised I couldn't make it any further, even if it was from the top of the road, she would have come and picked me up. But I just took my time and got halfway down the road and was chatting to one of the neighbours, a lovely chap. He's a vet, and he's got asbestosis. So breathing wise, he's in the same shit as me. He's had strokes. He actually has to have oxygen.
He's waiting for a lung transplant.
Yeah. As Heather rightly said, he has been on the waiting list for a lung transplant. Yeah, the heat from the electric blankets is good for your aches and pains, Jen, but I just, because I got restless leg syndrome and that, if I get too warm, and then I start stretching, and when I start stretching my legs and that's when I start to get the cramps, just by straightening my leg out and tensing my muscles that little bit to flex them a bit, and that's it. Next thing I know, I'm on the floor in agony, and literally on the floor. I mean, I did get a bit last night. I stayed up. Well, we both did. I was watching the old Starship launch. And that went on a bit longer than I expected it to. Normally, the splashdown, you don't have to wait an hour for it. But for some reason, last night you did.
He was taking the ship round the block before he brought it back home.
Yeah. What you want to do is build him a little hut, Matt. Plastic box, wooden box, something with a blanket or a bit of carpet inside. I mean, my little cat, she never go out when it was too cold. She'd just curl up in here somewhere. Neighbour's cat used to come and visit me, but I don't think that one's been out for a while.
I think we've lost a couple of the local cats as well as our own.
Yeah, I haven't seen the big ginger and white one.
How's Ollie?
I haven't seen Ollie. I forgot to ask Stuart. How's he doing? I don't even know if he's still alive. Well, the way the dumpy dopey thing used to try and run across that road, I'm not surprised. The lad's cat down the road, it wouldn't go to him when he called it, but it would come to me. Yeah, just, give them something in there to curl up in, Matt. They are hardy little animals, but like you say, it's not nice to think of them out there in the cold. I mean, I'm always terrified that when I used to be out in the shed and the workshop and that I'd end up locking one in there at some point. But so I always used to make sure before I shut the doors up. Again, Jen, I've never bothered with hot water bottles. Never bothered.
They can be very good for relieving pain there.
Oh, yeah, put them on your neck when you got neck pain or on your back. And, I've known plenty of people do it. I get quite a bit of pain from the arthritis in my neck. But there's not a lot you can do about it with arthritis, unfortunately. I always remember my mum used to have one of the old stone ones, a stone hot water bottle. And then my gran used to use the old bedpan still, the old coal pan. Used to put the hot coals in it with the big long handle, wave it around under the blanket and the sheet for a little while. Always remember that thing hanging on the wall. Yeah, if they're feral ones though, Matt, you have a hell of a job if they got used to living in the wild. We used to have feral cats around the tannery. We actually used to feed them, obviously, for the rats, because, a lot of the cow skins used to come in with the bits of flesh hanging off of them and what have you. And they used to feed on that. But they did keep the rats down. We did end up trapping a lot of them, and the vet come round and did the old bit on them. But my mate there, he took a couple of the kittens one year and tried to domesticate them. He had a hell of a job. One of them wasn't too bad. It did end up as a pet, but the other one, you just couldn't get it. So it live indoors. It wouldn't stay in. It just disappeared and was out with the others again. It's a shame. And of course, this is the worst time of year for some pets. You got the people that have got the veteran animals, the dogs and the cats. They're too old to play with the kids. They're incontinent. Good evening, Graham. And they either end up in a shelter or end up being euthanized and replaced with a new puppy or a kitten at Christmas, which I would never give an animal as a present like that. Never. It's something I've never done.
Yeah, but if you're buying a family pet and that's different to you, I don't think anybody would buy one and give it away.
I wouldn't buy one. I'd go to a shelter.
You still have to pay.
Yeah, but it's not like going to a pet shop. It's pre-loved. Anytime I've ever been to one, the animals just look so sad, just sat there. Yeah, little Wazza, my little cat, she wouldn't be that far away from me at any time, day or night. I got to admit, I get up in some mornings now and I inadvertently look around to see where she is, or I'll hear something behind me and I'll look round because I think it's her, but yeah, that's the thing, Graham. Over the holidays, the kids would play with one. Once they're back at school, it gets forgotten. And then it's down to the parents to walk and feed. And they just, I'm not saying all kids are like that. Heather's daughter's kids, they love their pets. They got the dog and a cat.
2 cats.
2 cats now, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, God. One, it's its first Christmas, and they're a bit worried about what's going to happen with the Christmas tree. But mine never bothered with the tree. If there was 1 or 2 balls hanging down on the low branches, the bottom branches, she might give them a bat in passing, but other than that, it never bothered her.
But she was old, even as a kitten.
Yeah. She wasn't young when we first got her, was she? When Donna left her here for me. But
No, but what I mean is when she was a little kitten, because Donna's had her from 8 weeks, she wasn't playful like a kitten should be. She didn't chase things very often. She wasn't. So she has never been one for climbing up inside a Christmas tree.
No. I very much doubt if I'd get another one, Matt, to be honest. One, the cats are social animals, and it's a bit unfair when we go on holiday. The thing's here on its own, and he gets to see the daughter twice a day. Evening, Simon. And we wouldn't be able to have a dog anyway. Neither of us are fit enough to walk it and look after it, properly in that way. It'd be loved and fed, and it could run around the garden. We got a fully enclosed garden, but that would be as far as it could go, which wouldn't be fair on the dog. I had enough problem here when the daughter brought hers over one. She's got an American bulldog, and it's a puppy. And you can imagine something that size as a bouncy puppy. Ooh.
She's beautiful.
Oh yeah, she's a beautiful dog, but
and daft. And very well behaved.
Oh, she is very well behaved. I will give her that, lover. But I'm an Alsatian man, a German Shepherd man. I always have been. They've always been my favourite dog. I've had several, as I've said in the past.
And that's what you mean by we can't have a dog. We can't have a German Shepherd.
No, not a chance. Lodger, good evening, buddy. A caracal? No, definitely not, Graham. I wouldn't even have a Maine Coon. I wouldn't have the strength to bloody lift it.
I have a Maine Coon.
Takes up too much space on the bed.
That's all right. You can move out the bed.
Yeah, I kind of remember that, Matt. Yeah.
I remember.
Absolutely, Lodger. And yeah, I know you sent me some pictures of them a while back, didn't you, Graham? We used to chat about them. Yes, Lodger, the police are getting back to their old ways of being thought police again. It's ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. I don't even think they know how to solve proper crimes. Yet they can. In Bristol, I think it is, they've charged a 92-year-old with a 67-year-old murder. You know what I mean? It just took them that long to sort that case out.
No, the murder was 1967.
1967. Yeah. Well, I knew it was something like that. But in 92, I mean, what's the point of jailing the old boy? We've had this before where they've done retro crimes like that, cold cases. Yeah, I might open it up in a minute, Simon, because I probably won't be on too late tonight.
I don't care how old the bastard is. He should suffer.
Yeah, but the judges look on them and they're not going to last in prison. They can't do anything or hurt anybody.
I don't care.
At that age. You don't care, but it's the judges. It's same as the lodger said with the 2-tier system. It's
yeah, but you can't just say, "Oh well, we'll let him get away with it then."
But the judges do. We've seen it before.
Yes, but after due process.
Yes, they'll go through the court case, and 9 times out of 10, when they're that age, The judge turns around, in view of your age, we won't give you a custodial sentence. Yes, they might put him under house arrest. Well, at that age, I very much doubt he can get out the fucking house anyway.
But they have to.
Yes, they do have to go through the process. He will be. He's been charged. He will go to court, but he will not go to prison. Believe me. In fact, I'll put money on that now if you want. Yeah, that's the thing though, Jen. He probably won't do time. Yeah, I saw that one. Who was it? Put it up the other day. I know someone did a video on that case. That's why I don't cover them on my channel. That there's so many people covering these cases now. But I mean, you got the Manchester police now. We're not going to strip search people for welfare checks. Well, they shouldn't have been fucking searching them anyway. And they shouldn't even be going around and kicking in their fucking doors. You know, you got someone that's got a mental health problem. You're just going to exasperate the problem by treating them the way they do. Yeah, Lodger, I don't know whether it was the same one that you're thinking of, but there was, I believe he was of a certain minority who raped a girl 3 times, the same girl, and he got a suspended sentence. On the same day that one of what I like to call political prisoners got put down for, I think it was 9 months for a post. Yeah, unfortunately, Graham, that's the issue now. Yeah, I realise that, Simon, but, you know, yes, rightly they should be jailed, but in 92, the judge probably won't do it. They'll just put him under restrictions, you know, maybe a house arrest. As I say, he probably can't get out the house anyway at that age. You know. But yeah, he's probably, you know, been chuffed over the last 60 odd years because he hadn't been caught. You know, but now he has. You know, what can we do about it? We don't run the courts. It's the corrupt justice system. Yeah, I get angry about it, Graham, when I read some of the reports. I really do. Now, Heather brought up something today, actually. Old King Proper Charlie. When old Queenie died, he inherited all her wealth, all her properties. Did that fucker pay any inheritance tax? Don't worry, Graham. I swear all the time, as you know. But yeah, did King Charles pay any inheritance tax? If so, what percentage? How much? How much did he pay?
But I have a feeling that even though he inherited it per se, it's owned by the country. So there is no inheritance tax.
Not owned by the country. I think you'll find a lot of them are owned by the crown, which is
pedantic. There is nothing to pay because he doesn't actually fucking own it. Is what I was meaning.
God bless says no, he didn't. Yeah, I can believe that, mate.
Yeah,
I can believe that. I mean, I said in today's video, you know, Labour have finished off what the Tories started. They have absolutely destroyed this country. Absolutely fucking destroyed it. Now, I've never believed that there should ever be any inheritance tax. You know, if someone's worked all their life, paid tax on their wages, to buy a property or buy a house, that should be theirs. There should be no more tax owed on that property. And if they want to pass it down to somebody in the family, there should be no tax on that whatsoever.
I've always said inheritance tax was wrong.
I mean, you can't even own a property and let a member of your family live in it rent-free. By law, they have to pay what is classed as a reasonable rent. I can't remember who brought that in, but it was over. There was a lot of people saying, oh, yeah, you've got to charge rent. You're not allowed to give it to any of your family rent-free. So they charge them like £1 a year. But they changed it, and you've got to pay what is classed as a reasonable rent. No, you couldn't make it up, Graham. It's ridiculous. I mean, the house I bought in Bristol, there was a church covenant on it, which I discovered in the searches. The estate agents didn't say anything about it. Now, what that means is the local church, if they need any repairs done, you never paid anything initially, but if the church needed money, they could put a charge on that house and you would have to pay a certain amount of tax, whatever the church needed. Luckily enough, you could take out an insurance policy. I believe they've done away with these now, the church covenants, but you could pay an insurance policy. Mine cost me, I think it was £5 something. And that covered me for life. As long as I owned that property, that covered me, that one payment. And if the church ever did want the covenant activated, the insurance company would pay it. I've never heard of one doing it, but they are used to be in place. Right, that's 8 o'clock. I probably won't be going past 9 o'clock tonight because I had a late night. So I will, just for Simon, I know he likes to come up. We'll bang that in there. We'll pin that. There we go. No, not my king, God bless. I've never been a royalist anyway, to be honest, mate.
Even though.
But yeah, I've never been a royalist. To me, yeah, they say they're ambassadors to the country. To me, they're not. They're just vampires on the country.
The royal family died when the Queen died. I mean, look, we're at an age, Roger. Every Christmas, near enough, she's always in our front room on Christmas Day. You know, and so that kind of thing that's grown with me. And I like Prince Philip. He had a wicked sense of humour. And I do miss him. But yeah,
all right, Brian.
Evening, Rock Dog.
Hey, buddy.
Rock Dog. Sorry.
You can call me Graham if you want. I mean, Rock Dog, Graham. I'll respond to anything. Just don't call me late for dinner.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, old Charlie, even when Queenie was alive, he didn't even hide the fact that he was supporting the WEF and groups like that. Now, we've had so many countries that have left the Commonwealth that have got their independence now. I mean, even Australia's looking at doing it. And, you know, that's a big one. And Charlie said, oh, if they wanted it, he wouldn't oppose it.
Do you know what? You've got to give respect for the Queen, right? Poor old girl. She held on to, what was it, 96? To try and deflect the pain that we're going to have when she dies. I've got to give her credit where credit's due. I mean, she was, wasn't she? You look at her, her last final days. She's your gran at the car boot sale and selling little jams
Well,
and stuff.
I can remember even in her last speech, she actually said, and I don't believe it was the government that put it in the speech. They usually write her speeches for her. She actually said, we must preserve cash. She actually said, we must not do away with cash.
And lots of other things. I respected her. I know I'm not a fan of like the royal family. Oh, it's only her really, and Queen Victoria, but she's a bit of a fucker anyway. So you go down to she's the one that started all the immigration in this country, believe it or not.
We are not fucking amused.
Yeah.
Well, she was the one.
Well, she was grieving for a number of years after Albert passed away.
I'm not going to also say that she
So
said
no wonder she ended up being a miserable cunt.
Well, she was the one that actually named part of the the Midlands here, the Black Country.
Really?
Is that a part of the UK that's specifically reserved for blacks? A bit like the black hole.
No, well, you're quite close.
Sorry, I'm thinking of balls of steel and militant black guys. Sorry,
no,
bit random shit, but whatever.
The smoke and everything up there.
Yep, she came through the industrial area on a visit or something many years ago, obviously, and she just happened to say, "Oh, isn't it all black round here?" Because the buildings were black from the industry. You know, they were sooty, they were dirty, and that's how it got its name. Apparently, it was known as the Black Country ever since.
Anybody taking any bets on what DEFCON we're going to be on for tomorrow? We're on DEFCON 3 at the moment today.
Yeah, I reckon we should be on DEFCON 1 with what the fucking idiots are pushing Putin into.
Cock ready, isn't it? Is it ready cocked or something? Ready cocked, that's it.
Yeah.
Don't know. Put Jeremy Clarkson in a Bugatti Veyron and it'll be DEFCON bloody 4, won't it? Or I don't know, something like that. When he's racing against James May in the aircraft.
Well,
again, random shit with me.
I'm not in touch with any serving personnel at the moment, but I'm trying to think who I can get in touch with to find out what bikini level they're on at the moment.
Sorry, bikini or mankini? Seeing as our politicians seem to be like, have no balls, and it's more like, no, don't even go there. Shut up for a minute.
What a ridiculous thing to put on security, the level of security, bikini red, bikini black. What's that got to fucking do with it?
That's the British version. Yeah.
Yeah.
How are you gemmed up, you two, on the Magna Carta? I mean, I'm going to get hold of Daddy Dragon because he used to be really clued up on that. But
I haven't seen Daddy Dragon about for the last 2 or 3 years, mate.
I know I've seen Graham. It's Graham, isn't it? I've been in touch with him a little while back. But I'm just wondering, because look, is there any way legitimately and legally we can overthrow this government? Surely we can't just let them come into power and then destroy the country. I mean, they're not even gaslighting us. It's blatant. And I'm not going to talk about some other things, about the up in, was it Southall and Leeds, whatever? I don't know if you've seen that, what's been going on. But we won't discuss that because that's a very you can't even discuss it in Parliament. So we'll leave that one. But everyone
even Farage has been told you got
be careful.
Yeah. Make the point and this and that. We can speculate, but it's obvious to me that there's a big cover up going on.
I did a bit about it, not yesterday. I think it was Monday.
So I'm just going to roll a factory.
It was one of the things that I put in the video to try and see who was watching, because I mentioned a few things and a possible scenario. I won't say a conspiracy theory, a possible scenario that allegedly a few other channels now have copied. Now, I said that the cover-up could be very, very similar to an event in London a little while back. Now, you probably remember the case. There was a horrible little bastard. I think it was either one or a double murder, while the terrorist squad were following him. Now, if you think about it, if they knew this alleged, because the case hasn't been heard yet, so I've got to say alleged, the alleged Southport killer was known to them. Now, they could have quite easily raided his property, his abode, and found what they found afterwards. They could have acted before the event. Now,
but he hadn't actually committed a crime at that point, allegedly.
Exactly what I'm saying. That was the
Yes,
excuse.
and it is exactly what I picked up on through yourself and other channels. Yes.
Yeah. You know, if that was the case, and they've slipped up, now that would involve the police, the anti-terrorist squad. It would also implement MI5 because most terrorist activity goes through them. It would certainly implement the government. Now they've got 39,000 possible.
43,000. It's 43,000.
40. It's gone up, is it? I thought it was 49.
Hello.
All right,
Yeah,
mate.
I know where I'm going to be safe. That's why I'm going to be safe.
Now they admitted this, but apparently they can only cover about 20% of them.
Then we've got a serious security problem in this country.
It was 24,000.
And we have had for a number of years.
It's 24,000 in 2016, 2014. And since that time, how many people have we had undocumented coming to this country? Well over 1 million.
Exactly.
So, and they were saying there's 43,000, 46,000, but they can only cover 10%. Now, if
that we know about. That we know about. I bet the numbers are bigger.
That everybody has committed a heinous crime in that type of religion of peace has been known to MI5. All of them. All of them. Even in France and in America, they're always known to the authorities prior to it happening.
Yeah.
Prior to it happening.
And that's what I mean. That we've got thousands of people in this country now, of admittedly not all a certain religious group that is the usual cause of it. I'll say I won't mention because that will get me into trouble.
No, we're not allowed to mention Alan's snack bar, are we? No, of course we're not.
You know, you've got that many of them. There is probably 3/4 of the ones that are here staying in public, in the hotels, private rentals, whatever, but haven't been investigated and checked out yet.
Exactly. We should be closing the borders and clearing the backlog, proper security checks, da-di-da-di-da, and anyone with a criminal record should, well, actually, anyone that's landed legally in the first place should be immediately turned around and fucked off in the nicest possible way.
If they've got no ID and they can't prove who they are, they should fuck them straight off.
There's too many battalions every day. Oh, sorry. Breaking news. My 11-year-old daughter has just stated that breaking news, there's going to be a fight between Ukraine and Russia. I think she just come out of a coma. Because I'm on the live stream talking.
She's been hibernating for 2 years.
Okay, mate, I don't know why, because my kids are more half-guarded than me. How you go? Oh my God. Now everyone's coming out. Let me just clear house. Normally, the best way to do it is say I'm going to do a fart.
Now, going back to something that Roger commented to me earlier, and bits and pieces I've worked out. Now, allegedly, Rishi Sunak said, I don't want to be Prime Minister in a state of war, blah, blah, blah. And yet he's been complicit by allowing it, by way of allowing arms to be supplied, this and that. I mean, I don't understand the full politics between the Ukraine and Russia and all the rest of it. But look, at the end of the day, should we be involved?
Well,
because
the only reason
while we're supplying arms, Russia are going to see us as the fucking enemy.
This is
with Biden's bloody latest, I'm going to allow this, and Starmer hasn't exactly, done anything to say, no, we shouldn't be doing this, but we're still giving foreign aid. Now, a lend-lease would be one thing, like what the Americans did before they got involved in the war, but even that would still make us sort of complicit. If the Russians want to push the button, they're going to push the fucking button, aren't they? And we're all going to be fucked.
There is a limit to what we've been sending them. Now,
and authorised to use today.
With arms and money.
There's always profit in war, unfortunately.
NATO set the levels and what you can send and what you can't. Anything above those levels is down to the individual country. Now, besides America, up until when Trump's going to be taken over in January, they've been the biggest contributor to the Ukraine.
Well, I'm hoping he might be able to help broker a peace deal or something.
The next biggest one is us.
Weapons-wise, Roger, we have been donating the most. Weapons-wise.
Yeah, but money-wise, we have been second. They were first. America was the biggest contributor. We were the second biggest. Germany and all the EU countries have only donated what NATO has told them to do. They haven't done anything
gas masks and shit like that.
Yep. I mean, to the point, Germany, when they first started giving them arms and that, they were told you've got to give them so many rockets, so many rounds of ammunition, so many bombs for the planes and shit like that. And what Germany did
in 1942.
Yeah, Germany went and raided their old Cold War stock.
Yeah, it was. It's the old Tiger tanks.
And a lot of it they couldn't send out there because it was too unstable to get out of the fucking warehouses.
And we had to donate the jump leads to help them start it up. It wasn't far wrong from that.
There was a load of, I can't remember what it was, whether it was ammunition or something like that. And the Germans said, we can't send it because we daren't send anything into the workshop, into the warehouse to move it. It's like you could go bang.
But the trigger point for today is the escalation is important today is that we authorise our missiles to strike deep into Russia, along with Biden. But hang on a minute, I thought Biden has stepped down and Camilla's taken over. How has he been able to give the order?
No, Biden is officially in charge until Trump's installed.
He doesn't even know what day of the fucking week it is. Why have they let him out of the care home again to make an executive decision? I don't get it.
He could tell if it's Timotei or some other shampoo on a child's head. Give him some credit.
Well, hang on. I don't have dandruff.
What Biden is doing is the same as what the Tories done to Labour. He's creating such a big fucking issue because he knows he's out of there. There you go, Trump. I've caused all the fucking issues. You go and sort it out, you pillar.
Yeah, they're setting Trump up. They're setting Trump up.
Yeah,
exactly, Roger. Right. Exactly.
And that's exactly what the Tories did to Labour. They knew they had no chance of winning that election. So they fucked up as much as they could for the incoming parliament. There you go.
I'm scared.
I'm a bit worried at the moment, Rog. I am a bit worried. I mean, I just, but I've been listening to, like on, not LBC, because that fucking Gammon, whatever his name is, but on the Talk, I listened to that all day. And they've been having phone-ins. And they're trying to, you got normal people like us justifying. And there is a reason, because you're educated, we're all educated, that's where we're all birds and fed, that's why we're on it, is why, what really started it. People keep going on about Minsk agreement, all that stuff. There's so much more to it. And how Russia dictators and this, but none of them. I was going to phone in today. I'm going to do it tomorrow if they talk about it again. Go back to pre special operation. But for starters, there's no war because no war has been declared. Secondly, the reason why the Russians went in there. And if you look at the BBC, Channel 5, ITV, Sky, Channel 4, look at prior to that happening, how they slated the Ukrainians with corruption, the Nazism, the Azov battalions, and then it's gone all Oh,
Well, it
no, no.
goes back way before that.
Yeah, I know.
It even comes
Nothing's
back
been
before
spoken.
our time. You got to think of when the Crimean War was on.
Yeah.
That's where it started. You
So
know,
you've got to look
and
at history.
And every
and
country has
even back
used
to
it.
War.
Every country has used it as an excuse. Now, I said this Friday on Heather's Live last week. The big scare was when it went off, this was the excuse they used. We've got to support the Ukraine because we're going to starve because the Ukraine supplies the world with their grain. Now, all of a sudden, after 6 months of it, that was forgotten. There was one report of a boat where it went mouldy. Other than that, has there ever been a bread shortage? You still get your buns in the shop. You still get your bags of flour. You know.
Hang on, there's other grain suppliers out there. Aren't the United States and Canada big grain suppliers? Or have I got something totally wrong with my farming?
You're forgetting one big one. So they said that Ukraine was the bread basket in the world. They have never, ever exported more than 5% is their best. Yet Russia, on average, is 25%. The reason why the grain can get out of Odessa, the port, is because nobody would ensure the ships going out because the Ukrainians have put so many mines in the sea. Oh, God, there's so much to know about. And
Africa used to supply a lot of grain. I don't think they supply as much as they used to. But, I mean, Africa used to be known as the breadbasket of the world. You know?
No, I'm having the food.
Was that under colonialism? Was that under colonialism, Roger? When either the French, the British, and other Western powers were sort of running things before they had their independence, and then dictators took over and fucked everything up. Or have I got it totally wrong?
Roman times. It was Africa that fed the Roman armies.
Okay, so we're going back a while then. Okay, fair enough.
A little while, mate. Yeah. When we still had big stones with holes in to make the flour.
I think I must be out of touch with something. I don't know.
No, I used to do a lot of history at school, so I know a lot about, what's written about those times. I don't know personally. It's only what's been written about those times.
I thought you were there.
Oh, thank you.
Right, I've got to ask a question that God bless. I've got to ask a question that God bless.
Yes, mate. Crack on. Yeah, that was my wife.
Is that your genuine background? Have you got a lot of retro fruit machines there? Have you got a fruit machine collection by the chance?
Special
fruit machines, pinballs.
Is that definitely Fruit Machine City?
Yeah.
Because I'm into retro fruit machines.
He collects them and repairs them.
I collect them and restore them, and just keep.
So you know about people like Chris 217 and among others, yeah?
Who?
Souls and Ed and Chris 217. Do you know about them?
What? Oh, that's on. Hang on a minute. I think you're talking about the ones that are on. Hang on a second. Pin info.
I'm genuinely interested in retro fruit machines from the 80s and 90s.
Oh, wow. So I've got one up. Well, you can't see it. It's one behind the next. It's 1982. And I've got another one. Oh, what's it called? Crown something. You know, like the old sound effects from like the old, I don't know, it's Vic 24. You know, it's Vic 64 rather. You know, the noises. Chain reaction. I've got chain reaction and a JPM full house. I'm gonna. They're in mint condition, but I've got to do some work.
Turn them all on and turn them on and kill the national grid.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'm going to ask a favour.
Roger's got
Let's
my
have
number.
some private chat at some stage, at some point. God bless. Roger's got my email address. He's got my personal number, my WhatsApp, whatever. Let's hook up sometime because I am genuinely interested in these fruit machines. I actually
Yeah,
want to
where
buy
are
one
you?
or two.
He's down in Kent, mate.
Oh, was it? I just
Say
got
again?
rid of. I'll let it go for 600 quid. What was it? No, 695. Crazy. Oh, something crazy bingo or something. What's it called?
Let's do some private dialogue. Roger's got my private email and he's got my mobile number. Let's
He's
hook
got
up.
my
God bless
contact.
you. And we'll
So
yeah.
I do need a bit more space. I've got storage as well, but I'm trying to keep this.
I know what I'm after. I know what I'm looking for in terms of fruit machines, but I've only got a 1-bedroom flat. I'll give you a quick scan
Yeah.
on my camera. Bit of a delay. At the moment, I've got
Fine, mate.
a corner that I need to clear some space out. I've got some bloody dining chairs that I need to get rid of. And
Well, I don't
I
need
haven't got a lot
the
of
dining
room in my
chairs.
kitchen, but I can make room for at least one fruit machine, possibly fucking two. And I am genuinely
I've got some
interested
here I
in
wanna get
buying
rid
one,
of. I've got
maybe two.
I've got two on. I want to get rid of. I wanna
Okay,
get-
we'll have a private discussion. So, yeah, Roger can supply the email and this and that, and we'll go from there, yeah?
All right, mate. Well, Roger's got my number. Roger, you got my full permissions, giving my details, contacts, blah blah
Yeah.
blah. Not on the stream.
I might not get back to you tonight, but I will definitely get back to you very, very soon.
Oh, yeah, well, no rush, no
100%.
rush.
100%.
Just
I'm not
to
gonna.
make sure
This
I've
is
still got
genuine.
yours.
I mean, I just got rid of the darts machine. You know, do you remember those ones in the arcades where you see the Chinese are like epileptic dancing on these panels and that? It took me 20 years to get rid of it. A bit of a hole.
There's certain things I'm interested in, and certain things I wouldn't go for. Now, there's
No,
a particular club fruit machine that I want, but I doubt if I'll find one.
Can I just confirm? Are you still using the number ending? I'll give you the
5,
last
6.
3 numbers. Yeah.
5, 6.
Is this at Rock Dog?
656. Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Oh,
yeah.
sorry, you were talking to God bless, right?
I'll
But
pass
my
that
bad.
on to Graham probably tomorrow now.
Yeah. It's all good. It's all good.
Sofa's in the house as well, and the lodger. We've got a good crew here tonight.
I'm going to be shouting at for late for dinner, but fuck it, tough.
You could be what?
I'm going to be shouting at for late for dinner, but tough.
Because
Because my mate upstairs does the cooking and shit, but hey, whatever.
I always have my dinner early on a Wednesday.
Well, I don't. A lot of the time, when my mate's not working, it's dinner at 8.
Sure.
But when it starts not, or when she's working a shift or whatever, it's like dinner whenever, if at all.
I'll be honest, during the week, except for Wednesdays and Fridays, the latest I go to bed normally is 9:30.
It's not Roger Taylor, it's Roger Whittington.
Same
Sorry.
as Dick Whittington.
Yes. Right.
Yeah, but the name's Roger, not Dick.
Right, I've got back in a second, I've got a clean house. Get out.
Never cleaned the house.
Come on, girls. Have a go, class it away. I'll fucking clean. You win.
And there was me thinking, I've got to watch my effing language because there's kids about.
Honestly, mate, those girls will give as good as they get. Believe me.
Well,
Especially
fair play
the
to
older,
them, fair
the
play.
older one, Daisy, I think her name is. That camera's gone out of focus again.
Oh, God.
She used to come on and give Pap a load of shit.
No, I can't see comments or nothing. I'm literally going by the chat. So anyone that's posting comments, unless it comes up on the widescreen TV on the chat, I've got no idea what anyone's saying about jack shit at the moment. I'm just trying to sort of.
Change
I don't
that
know.
over, and that will
I'm
give
trying to
that
get out of my depression by having a laugh and a giggle with you guys, yeah?
Well,
If that
this
makes
is
sense.
what I do. I usually
And
use...
thank you for the outlet, Roger. Thank you for the outlet because
That's right, mate.
I kid you not, I've been so effing depressed recently. I haven't been crawling out of bed till 3:30, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and I'm like, why am I here? You know, what good am I?
Well, this is what
But you've given me an outlet, and thank you for that.
You know, this is why on my lives I tend to do usually around the first half hour or the hour, going through the shit of the day.
Yeah.
You know, and some of the stories I've covered, and then I just open it
Sure.
up for general conversation. You know, like we're having now.
Sure. Now, health-wise, I mean, I've probably missed out on the early stuff because I didn't join till late. So, I mean, is everything okay? You're in?
Yeah. I had an appointment yesterday with a Scottish doctor that was terrified because I hadn't been jabbed.
The cold flu jab?
No, what it is, my hearing isn't nowhere near as good as it used to be.
Pardon?
And I couldn't hear what she was saying. She actually had a mask on, a big thick one. And I couldn't hear what she was saying. So I just said, hang on, I'll move my chair a bit closer to the table so I can hear you. And as I moved mine forward, she was moving hers back and leaning over in the corner away from me.
Well, hang on, I thought COVID was like last year's news or the year before's news. What the fuck?
There's a new variant
out there, mate.
Every other month. There's a new variant. Don't forget that.
Your audio's crackly there, Simon.
Very crackly. Couldn't hear a word of that.
Right, give me a second. I might have to come out and come back in. Hold on.
Yeah, because I said to her, you know, you got to stop sending me the fucking texts, inviting me for the jabs and that. I said, I'll tell you now. I said, I'm not interested in that or the flu jab. I said, and getting all the texts is fucking annoying. And she sort of said, well, what have you got against it? I said, well, one, I've done my research. Two, in my condition, it can do me more harm. I said, I've got the actual facts from someone from the funeral directors, from the family, about the deaths. I said, and two, if you look around on social media, I said, there's a half an hour video from the ex-CEO of Pfizer that tells the actual truth about it.
Right. Someone's audio is blur, blur, blur. Something's weird in the background here.
It can't be me. Mod, is my audio okay?
No, it's very crackly, mate.
Really?
Yeah.
Give me a minute. I'll come back out and come back in. It was okay before, wasn't it? But give me a minute.
Okay, mate.
Do you think MI6 are trying to block our signals or something?
But, not only that one, I think I did put a link to it, or I copied it on. I know you don't do Facebook, Graham. There's a guy on there that actually did a video about the origins of it. Now, they were experimenting with a virus under the same name, just with a different number, back in the 60s.
Bloody hell.
And they were injecting it into animals back then. You know, they tested. Back then, everything was done a bit different medically. They were testing things. You know, it was the Cold War, so it's obvious what they were looking into. But yeah, apparently that virus or a strain of it was being fucked around with back in the 60s.
Wow.
And I didn't know that. Over all my research over the last, since the outbreak and lockdowns and everything, as you know, I used to do a lot of research into it.
Oh, damn straight.
I had never come across that before.
Did you know?
Never heard about it. So, yeah. I mean, you know, I'm not saying that's actual fact, but apparently this guy is a well-known scientist, a well-known historian, and what have you. And he did a video on it.
The terms coronavirus and COVID have been used for many, many years and refer to all the different flus, colds, and those sort of viruses. So COVIDs and coronas have been around for years. Yeah, but absolutely, 100%.
The problem is, as the ex-CEO said in his video with proof, it's not the vaccine that caused the issues. It's not the vaccine. It's the carrier that they have to put in the vaccine to make your body accept it.
Yeah.
Which is the mRNA.
In other words, that's how they found not necessarily a cure for HIV, but a way of prolonging life. Yeah, something along those lines. Have I got that right, or am I talking bollocks?
Most vaccines your body won't accept unless it's got something with it.
In other words, a common thread or a common strain. Yeah.
Hang on. It clips onto it and assimilates something that's not going to kill you.
Yeah, your sound is terrible, Simon.
It's still.
Yeah, unfortunately, it is, Simon. Yeah.
What? Fuck it. I don't know what happened there. Then I'm gonna do a reboot. I got the best of the best.
It sounds like you've got a. It sounds like you're.
Yeah.
Underwater.
Give me 2 minutes. I'm gonna do a reboot.
Yeah,
Probably got too many fruit machines and pinball machines switched on in the background. That's what it is. Let's limit hearing.
It's radiation from all the lights.
Oh, Christ.
Now, the other thing I'm worried about at the moment, I mean, this goes back to the actual Cold War, believe it or not. Now, Russia has got ships all around the world. Some are moored up, some are still being used to carry goods. Now, back during the Cold War, Russia had what they called the Doomsday Boat.
Oh, weren't they disguised as fishing vessels?
No, this thing was like the size of a tanker. It was a big, big cargo vessel. And basically, it was a big fuck-off nuclear bomb. You look it up, the Doomsday Boat, Russian Doomsday Boat. Now, I've never heard of that being dismantled. I never heard what happened to it. I'm not saying they've still got anything like that, but we don't know even during the good times when countries were friends with Russia, we don't know what they had. They were very secretive. There was the unilateral disarmament agreement.
Allegedly.
Western countries did away with a lot of their nuclear weapons. Russia.
Oh, Western countries might have done. Yeah.
A lot of countries did do away with quite a few. Now, Russia did say they'd done away with quite a few, and they showed the evidence of them destroying a few. But whatever they kept back, we don't know what they've got. Now, the other problem is they've got North Korea involved. Now, we know North Korea has got the capabilities. We know they've been testing rockets. Iran, again, they've got nuclear capabilities. They've been backing Russia. It's not actually just Russia we've got to worry about.
We don't know for sure what's been stockpiled and what's been developed.
Exactly.
Because there's no way of actually checking up on this.
Remember Cuba?
1962?
The Cuban blockade? Yeah. They could have.
Well, 1962 rings a bell specifically as a date in history, but I might be wrong.
Yeah, the Cuban missile crisis.
Yeah. Where Khrushchev got accused of adventurism. But again, we don't know for sure what happened.
A lot of these countries are run by extremists. And if anybody's likely to hit a button to cause that sort of issue, it's going to be one of them. Because that way, Russia can't take the blame for it.
Well, I wouldn't put anything past Biden or fucking Starmer, to be fair. But hang on, I didn't just say that, did I?
I don't think, even as bad as they are, I don't think they're stupid enough. I think anything coming from them on that front would be retaliatory. But by then, it will be too late.
Is my sound better now?
Yeah, that's better, mate. I mean, my voice is a bit hoarse anyway with my throat. It's
You're supposed to say because you hung like one. No, Mrs. Whittington says to say, Heather, it's like, yeah, he's hung like one.
No.
Oh, no.
You'll only deny it.
I just got to get a drink.
Anyway, they reckon the proportions of a horse's penis to the size of the horse, he's not that well endowed.
Oh, I'd rather be fucking the size of a horse to be endowed like that. Trust me.
Yeah, but that's only if you are the size of the horse.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So, what did I miss? While I rebooted for 2 minutes? Hang on a minute.
Well,
I don't want to make love with a horse. Thank you very much.
It's no good having one the size of a horse if you haven't got a receptacle the size of another female horse to fit the bastard in, is it?
Oh, who's being the horse's ass? Oh no, wrong hole, wrong hole. As you can tell, I'm having a.
Anyway, what did I miss while I rebooted?
Not a lot, mate. I mean, you know, they said the other day, you know, that the birth rate, British birth rate, has dropped drastically, and they couldn't understand why. I thought, well, people can't afford to fucking
Money.
have kids.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it's
exactly right, Rog. I mean, we had people coming over here, 4 wives, and they can not be married to each one, so they claim each one and then club all those resources of like 9, 10 kids. So that's like 40, 50 kids into one. Whereas us, I think it's 2017, they brought that new law out that if you have more than 2 kids, you're not going to be paid for more than 2 kids. But if you look at the birth rates in 2016, fucking skyrocketed.
yeah, but don't forget there's a certain religion where you can legally have more than one
That's
wife, and if
Yeah,
you want
Yeah, I think
benefit,
it's called polygamy.
you can claim for every
Concubines.
wife.
They're called concubines, right? You can have 4 wives and as many concubines as you want. So you can have 60 or even
Yeah, but
72 virgins.
In that religion,
Enough.
as long as they've been married in their own country under their own laws, that marriage is legal here. Now they can claim benefits for every single wife they've got.
So you can have 10 wives and 100 kids and claim for everyone. Yeah,
Yes.
if you're of a certain demographic.
Yep.
It stinks.
Well, a certain cult. I would say a certain cult, personally. But then again, look at the Mormons. You could be a Mormon, though. You could be a Mormon. But they don't go. There's not many grooming gangs in the Mormons, or
Yeah, they're just sister wives, aren't they?
Well, I must admit, I'd rather be a Mormon than a fucking moron.
yeah. Well,
At least you get your wooden house built for you and walks across the field.
I like your wordplay there.
Yeah. Now, who was it that did that track? I think it was in Top of the Pops, and it was a punk group. Oh, what was it? Jilted Jeff or something. Gordon is a moron. Gordon is something like that, wasn't it?
Yeah, I remember that one.
Jilted John, that was.
Jilted John, I was close. I knew it was Jilted someone.
Yeah.
77, 78, wasn't it? Around that time?
Yep.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Because Broken
Sounds
Glass
about right.
as well with Blondie. That was about 77, 78.
Yeah.
Well, I also remember the album by The Prodigy, Music for the Jilted Generation. But that's a different subject.
Yeah.
He was a lovely bloke. Oh, I can't remember his name now.
Who, what? Keith? Scary bloke from Fast Starter. I'm Fast Starter. Twisty Fast Starter.
Listen, it was a person. He was not scary. He was the most soft. I've met him a few times, so I was being involved in the music thing back in the day.
I'll tell you one thing about him, though, Simon. I'll tell you one thing about him that was absolutely true. He was absolutely shit at racing cars.
However, Music for the Jilted Generation was a bloody cracking album.
Whenever I sat next to him, we was both too pilled up to be racing cars. Trust me. Obviously, paracetamols and stuff like that, pharmaceutical. But he was the most softest, kindest. I mean, like George Michael. I only met him a few times because my
You didn't meet him in the toilets, did you?
Good one.
I'm going to say, don't talk about meeting in the toilets. That's called cottaging, isn't it?
Thanks, Roger. That's going to get clipped, isn't it? Fucker. No. What it is, my ex-missus, her family went into horse racing and that, and he had a horse in training with them. And I met him a couple of times. Most loveliest bloke. I felt no need to super glue my cheeks together. Another one I met through them was that Andrew Lloyd Webber. Yeah, I don't care what I say. I don't care if I get fucking done for this. I've sat at a dinner table on this farm, their horse farm thing, and his wife, what's her name, Sarah or something back in the day, I can't remember. She used to feed him right next to us, and I'm starting to laugh while Mrs. is kicking me under the table, like going like that to me, because she's feeding him like a little baby. If he gets like, it's an aeroplane, open wide. Honestly,
that comment from Loafer, can you imagine the ultimate thing about the glory hole? When you've been stood in front of it for a quarter of an hour and you hear your mother's voice the other side of the wall say, thank you.
Oh my God, that sounds like a nightmare. It'd be even worse if it was the mother-in-law.
Sorry. I didn't intend to drop that much into smut.
Careless with your whisper. Who the fuck said that? Oh, Gordon, you funny fucker.
That's the best one. Gordo 2.0. Were you careless with your whisper?
You funny fucker.
Oh, dear. It could be even worse for the daughter, though, couldn't it, when she hears her dad say, get some of that?
Oh, come on.
How the fuck has this conversation deteriorated all of a sudden?
We were talking about the prodigy, and I met George Michael, and then it went.
Well, I was going to say we're all men here, but we're not because Heather's back. So we're not all men here, but fuck.
It was close. Somebody put it on Facebook. The ultimate embarrassment, and it just came straight into my head when I saw that comment.
Well, that's all right. This reminds me of something. Fucking hell, I sent you the joke, Roger. I sent you the joke. Now, if God was an engineer, what type of engineer would it be? Would it be an electrical engineer, a mechanical engineer, or a civil engineer? And I remember sending Roger the joke a day or two ago, and it was along the lines of, oh, well, he's an electrical engineer because, the brain sends the electrical impulses. And the mechanical engineer argued and said, no, it's all to do with, the muscles that control everything. And the civil engineer, having sort of like, because they're all in the pub having a beer, stares at his pint, deep and meaningful, and says, well, actually, nah, God, a bit like most of our politicians, must be a civil engineer, because who the hell would put a pleasure park next to fucking waste disposal? I'm sorry to lower the tone, but fuck's sakes, this is the only thing that keeps me saying shit like this, jokes.
Yeah,
because we're in a shit state.
That only applies for blokes, not for women. I mean, there's two pleasure
I apologise to any ladies present for being like this, but bollocks.
Gordo come out with a good one. He must have had some faith to even sit down with George Michael. That's quite witty.
What's that? Keep the faith.
No, Gordo, but he must have had some faith to sit down with George Michael. I was on his lap. I was in a chair.
See, that was another one that tried car racing that totally fucked up. His mate, Andrew Ridgely, was it Ridgely? He tried car racing and he failed miserably.
Yeah,
well, it's got something to do with fast love, isn't it?
Not as good as the boxer Barry McGuigan, though. He took up rallying, and I think it was his second rally. They got video of him upside down in his car after he rolled it, crying.
Barry McGuigan's gone in the jungle.
So I take it Gordon 2 is down to. I can see a picture. Is that supposed to be Gordon Ramsay? He's all right. Don't listen to only because I'm not famous or anything, but I've met a lot of people. My mate was one of the managers at what's the Booker's Cash and Carry, and they're doing a special promotion. And because he's one of the main guys at Booker Cash and Carry, they took on Gordon Ramsay to promote some stuff. So he's taking him out for meals all the time. My mate said, "Do you want to meet Gordon Ramsay?" I said, "Yeah, go on then." And they took us all out for a meal. And I tell you what, I swore more than him at the table, and I felt embarrassed.
You got to be joking. You swore more than Gordon Ramsay. You got fucking Tourette's.
No, it's only for the TV. It's nothing like that. I tell you what, he's done a lot of good stuff. His brother was a user of like the hard stuff, and he's done a lot to help people that are in that situation take off the streets and give them jobs and stuff like that. It's documented anyway now. You can see that on TV. But yeah, he's a good bloke. He's all right. But that Pierre Marco White, whatever his name is, he was in a paper star. I've met him a few times. And where my mates got in Old Town, do you remember? It's called the Bank in Old Town in Swindon Lodge. It used to be a NatWest, and they converted into like one of his fancy dancing.
Gastro place, wasn't it?
Yeah. My mate Manny was a manager there, and I come in a few times. I used to do the security there. I come in, I see my mate Manny there, he's an Indian guy, and I'm talking to him, and he's sat with that fucking Marco Pierre White. And he goes, "Oh, this is." My mate said, "Oh, this is Simon. He does the security here." He goes, "Oh, hello." I said, "Well, have you parked your?" And I went to Marco Pierre White. I said, "You parked your kebab van around the back. Is that your one?" He didn't like. Because I've been to his food places, and it's shit. 3 Michelin stars. No, his food is shit. His food is shit.
The worst one for me was Rick Stein. He actually destroyed Padstow.
Oh, what? Which one are you talking about? The original one he had about 25, 30 years ago. That was all right, Rog.
Yeah, when he just had the little restaurant.
The little side seat one off goes back. I enjoyed the food in there. It was all right.
But now it's the prices for what you get is ridiculous. He's never there to do any cooking anyway. The only thing the good thing he did do, and I got to admit, we turned up a couple of years to it because we used to supply him with some fish. In fairness, when he had the big restaurant, the top restaurant there, when he was doing the cooking himself, he used to insist on line caught fish.
That's right. So
if we had any decent bass, flatfish, because we used to fish around the Padstow area, we'd supply him with them. He was the first port of call if we wanted to sell any. So a couple of years on the trot, he invited us to the staff barbecue. Now, what he used to do, they used to go down on the beach at Padstow, and we used to have a fire pit dug in the sand. And you put the stones in the bottom, lay the meat and the fish out on the stones, cover it all, and he'd cook it like that. And that was absolutely beautiful, I got to admit. And it was a good time. He did throw his doors open a couple of times and gave a bit of free food away and a few beers on Hobby Hoss Day.
Which day?
Hobby Hoss. Hobby Hoss, they call it.
What is that?
It's a festival they have in Padstow every year. Okay. It's they have 2 characters. One's black, one's red. And it's supposed to be the battle between good and evil. And they dance with the procession all through the town. And every pub and restaurant throws their door open. They put on a few tables of food out. And, you just help yourself.
It's a May Day festival.
A bit like our May Day festivals.
Yeah.
Oh, laugh my arse off, Gordo.
He's got a place in Marlborough called the Ivy.
Jamie Oliver, he took over one of the biggest hotels on the north coast of Cornwall at Watergate Bay. And I know for a fact this is true because a mate of mine used to own it, or his missus owned it before Jamie Oliver did.
David took it on.
And he turned it into that posh chef school. There used to be a series on telly of the posh chef school that he used to run, and that's where it was, at the Watergate Bay Hotel.
Listen, don't listen to all that posh shit, right? I don't know him directly, but one of my mates went to the same boarding school as him, and he's very right. When all right, geezer, let's strap it up, get that round your gums. That's all I put on. It's all I put on. He went to public school.
Well, my mum, because she was a top chef when she was alive, she actually went to catering college with Rick Stein. And she ended up running the kitchens at a private school in, well, it was Berkshire at the time. It's now Oxfordshire. The school, I don't know whether the school still exists, actually. Cothill House, it was called. And she used to run the kitchens there. But she actually went to catering college with Steiny.
With who?
With Rick Stein.
No, I'm talking about Oliver.
Oh, no, he's a little prick, he is.
Yeah, it's all fake. No, I'm not on about Stein being giving it all a large. It is a cockney and that. No, I'm on about Oliver. It's all fake.
He turned up at Santa Pod one weekend with that fucking Volkswagen Beetle bus thing with the Porsche engine in the back. He didn't even get to race the thing. He just done a burnout, left the line and blew it up.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, Gordo, fuck off.
Yeah, Gordo's good, isn't he? He's right on it.
What you like?
There's Ella over that.
He is funny, isn't he? This Gordo too. I don't think I've come across him before. It's fucking
He
hilarious.
is.
Gordo's all right, mate, I'll tell you.
I like that last one.
He's cracking me up. It's cracking me up, big style.
Larder in her tights. I've never heard that joke before. Fair play, mate. I'm going to get a beer back in a second.
Get a beer. Sounds like a plan, Stan.
Well, I'm all right at the moment. I think I'm gonna try and keep going till about 9:30. So we'll see where we get to there.
Well, I'm definitely going to get yelled up by the time I go upstairs for dinner.
Well, the trouble with me is I found out.
At least it won't be in the dog, but it might be inside one of the cats. We've got 3 of them.
Well, I found out what the problem is with my eyes. I mean, I got a big sty on the inside of my eyelid, and it rubs my eyeball.
Not good.
Whereabouts did yours watch? Whereabouts is yours?
What, my sty?
Yeah.
At the end of the garden. No, it's right up under the eyelid, and it rubs. It's inside the eyelid.
I got one just about there. It's called a pearl, and then it'll be there for a few months, and then one day I'll go like that, and I get it out. It's like a little white dot thing, and then it's gone for about 6 months, and it keeps coming back again.
Yeah, it will, unless it's surgically removed. It's like
I lump in my side of my neck there. I can scratch it, and it gets to a scab. And then every 3 months, I get these like the same kind of thing on the back of my shoulders there. When I scratch it, and it gets head on it, and goes away, and then comes back another few months.
Well, I had one behind my ear, and it used to give me earache. And I used to burst it every now and again. You'd get all the white gunk out of that. But when I questioned the doctor about it, because it was giving me earache and headaches.
Yeah.
And there's a name for it, is something cyst. Now, literally what they do, you can have a minor operation. They can do it under locally at a GP surgery if you're brave enough. What they do is they cut it open, and they literally have to scrape everything out the inside of it. If they leave any one part in there, it can come back. It's
but how long ago was that? That was.
I had this done. Christ! It's got to be 8 to 10 years ago, and it's never come back since.
Because when I come off that electric bike and I broke my nose, and it's still broken now. And I fucked my teeth up a little bit when I face planted it. I only just did about 3 pedals, but I forgot it was on maximum power. When I was in hospital, and I said about my nose being broken, because we don't, you're gonna have to go private on that. We don't repair broken noses no more.
No, they don't.
And I said about my eyes.
It's totally deformed.
And when I did my artwork, because I fractured my socket as well, and I fractured my wrist, I said I'm getting a blurred vision in this eye. It's come back. Yeah, it's come back now. It's not bad as it was. And it goes, oh, you have to go to Specsavers. What?
The reason for that, Gordo, is that's why all the the pedos in there approach him from one side. Evening, Stuart. Glad you got home okay, mate. You said you'd had a good time.
Oh, Gordo, for fuck's sakes. Jesus, wet. I'll give you that one, Gordo.
Oh, that is a good one.
I'll give you that one, Gordo.
Do you take the stream down afterwards, or do you leave it up there with the chat? So I'm going to have to copy some of these.
No, I don't delete any of the streams.
I might give Peter Kay a run for his money.
Right, as far as I know,
I've ever had deleted was by YouTube.
As far as I know, when you try to rewatch a live stream, you can't see the comments.
You can.
Yeah, it depends.
I've tried it in the past, but maybe it's my settings. I don't know.
No, it's Roger's settings, I should imagine.
Yeah, it's the channel owner, whether they remove the comments or not, because there's always a replay on the comments. I always leave it up as is.
And so you should, because what happened is, we know we got a good fan club out there that loves us. They say they clip something and then because there's no chat with it to make it. It's like saying, so if I said to you guys now, I'm really hungry, I could kill a pizza, and then it'd be another stream. God bless said he could kill. Yeah, dangerous society.
Oh, there's one that goes through them, and I know they do. You know, and they're actually posting them on Facebook, but I don't bother with them.
Yeah.
I don't even go on. If I can't see it, it doesn't piss me off anymore.
I don't go on Discord or anything like that. I mean, I've still got a Discord account. I only use it for other things where I'm trying to work on something electrically or something, and there's a channel that says they got a Discord if you want to post in the forum to ask a question. But apart from that Discord is toxic as fuck.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I don't go on any other streams on YouTube. You know, they're just there for the dramas, a lot of them.
Oh, no. I went on one the other night, Rog, and I was having a lovely chat with someone, blah, blah, blah. And then somebody mentioned about what happened to the Kraken. I said, listen, the Kraken was just to protect some certain women because I was sick and tired of how these geezers were causing trouble between two streams and then putting women down, fat shaming them. And then 10 minutes later, someone come up. Oh, you said this. I said, oh, fuck off.
Well, I don't even mention them, mate. I don't even talk about them.
No.
You know, I've got a good, respectable little community in here. Everybody shows the utmost respect, not just to me, but to everybody else as well.
And Heather.
Yep.
Sorry, I'm being moaned at because I haven't gone upstairs for dinner now. Well,
that's why
welcome to our world.
That's why I always put in that it's zero tolerance. Anybody comes in doing shit like that, they're gone. They're out. They're barred. They're blocked. I won't have it. I'd rather have. We got 27 in now. Yeah, there's going to be lurkers in the background.
Careful, Crinkle's going to get you. Crinkle's going to get you.
God. Don't say that 3 times, like Beetlejuice.
No, I'm not going to say it 3 times. I'm not that stupid.
But even he hasn't changed. I watched Marty's video on him in London. That was fucking hilarious.
Oh, what? God, gold. Was it? I was on a stream. I think it's Mark Kelly's a couple of days. I don't want to bring in other things, you know. Like I know you don't like that, but he came up. Oh, I fucking ripped the fuck out of him. Oh, I enjoy it now.
But the best thing about that, it was obvious the other 2 guys were coppers. They were absolutely coppers.
They were fucking proper old East End, like the old school coppers that I kind of got respect for.
It was just their attitude, the way they answered things, the way they answered. It was blatant that they were coppers. Yeah, they might have been off duty and on a night out. But
I know the video you're on about. Yes. I remember it now. Yeah.
Come on, Sonny.
Yeah. You know, at the time I got in touch with Marty. I do keep in touch with him now and again.
He's all
No,
right.
cool.
I said, you do realise that those two guys were coppers. Like, you know what I mean? It was too fucking obvious to be anything but. And
know
I
what,
But
Mike?
there's
said,
this crinkle bloke or whatever. He's got an e-bike or whatever. He's obviously pissed and he's
Scooter.
blatantly bloody
Scooter.
riding it when he's
Oh,
like
it's bottle of white wine. He's
intoxicated.
got a bottle of white wine.
yeah. But I like the way one of the coppers turned round and looked him straight in the face and said, "Oh, you got that dodgy eye."
Yeah. He goes, "Go on, son. You're in a hot." What did he say to him? If you don't go now, son. No, I had to go, son. If you don't go now, son, you're go down the wrong road, right? So get out. The trouble is, Crinkle, right? That night on his scooter, he's trying to white knight somebody called CP Audit, some girl. Anyway, and he didn't like it. That's why he went down there. He had his bottle of white wine, and the trouble is, Crinkle is he likes to have a little bit of a. And that's when he goes doolally. But
Isn't he the one that gore bombed Pat's channel one night, or am I thinking of a different crinkle?
He's
It was
gore bombed
Mark
about every
Kelly.
bloody channel he goes on.
There is
It was.
only
I'll tell you what happened. It was Mark Kelly, MK on the cut, or MK on the boat back then, and we was all on the stream. If you don't mind me talking about it, Rog, I was there, and we was having. It's like this now. We was having a really good night, all good people having a good chat about their life and everything else, and just having a good laugh. And then he goes, "Oh, I got a crinkle in her background." I goes, "Mark, please don't do it. You know what is good. Please don't do it." He goes, "Oh." He's a softie, Mark. And he goes, "I'll give him a chance." And I said, "Well, it's up to you, mate. It's up to you. You come on." Destroyed the stream. Mark had to. He goes, "I'll be back in a minute, guys. I've got to do something." I said, "Don't leave him on it. Don't leave him on it." He left him on there. And I'll tell you
He's gone
what.
for about 20 minutes, wasn't he?
Yeah. And the things that Crinkle put on there, he should have been arrested. But then again,
I'm
we
surprised
see
he
people walk
hasn't.
away.
I mean,
Obviously,
under the
when it
new
happened.
online safety bill, he shouldn't even be on social media anymore.
No. Well, it doesn't come into effect yet. Is it January it comes into effect, isn't it?
No, it's in effect now. But what the Tories did, they weren't doing anything about it. They passed it over to Ofcom.
Ofcom, they're about as much use as tits on a bull.
And
I think it's law in January. It's not actually law yet. It comes into effect for criminal and protection in January.
Yeah, I mean, I've always said there's not 90% of it or even more is not designed at keeping anybody safe. It's keeping people quiet.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the size of it.
Yes.
They use the protection of the kids and women as the excuse to get it through.
Yeah.
Most of it is just blatant censorship. And of course, platforms, and I will mention them, YouTube, not just YouTube, they always go, and they have been going over the top on it.
Totally.
You know, they have their own ideas around it. And I've always said YouTube blatantly breaks their own core value. Their core value has always been freedom of expression. Now, how can you have that as your platform's core value with the amount of censorship that they do?
Yeah. Fact finders. X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it. That's my favourite. That's my favourite.
I don't go on it.
It's good, Rog. It's good. It's really good. You do. I mean, Elon Musk was the best thing to happen for free speech for many a year.
Yeah, but the thing is, look at the way the social media platforms are policed.
Yeah.
Now, he can give freedom of expression, freedom of speech on that platform. America will accept it. But the government here, same as other countries, make their own rules on what can be done. So if they say, right, you can't do that here, you can't do it. Whether he lets you or not, they can censor it here.
I do think, I'd like to explore that one day because it's a platform that's owned by an American in America.
Yeah.
So I do, I mean, mate, I do look at my CCTV quite regularly, wait for the knock. It's going to come.
Whoever that is just posted on Discord. I haven't got it open at the moment, by the way. Yeah,
Twitter's
it's
good,
Ireland. They got quite heavier censorship than we have, believe it or not.
Who?
Gordo posting pictures.
It's Gordo, is it? I'll look at them in a bit, Gordo. Yeah, Ireland have got a different form of censorship. Obviously, European countries have got totally different ones.
They've got a special police force, haven't they, in Ireland? What's it called? Public order. Something to do with public order.
Yeah.
Okay, I do keep in touch, as you know, with them. I've done quite a few Irish channels. It was hard at the beginning because I'm an English bastard and all this stuff. And I said, oh, mate, look, you like to wake up on Christmas Day with your kids and open presents. So do I. We got a bigger threat going on. It's like slavery. I never owned a slave. I've never been a slave. That was fucking back in the day. And it's the same thing like now with this Irish and English thing that happened in the past. That never affected me or you. We got a bigger threat going on. That's why I say the Welsh, Irish, Scottish, English unite people. Why is that? And it's gone a long way. People are changing over there.
That says it absolutely perfect. And China's the same. Now, TikTok is Chinese owned.
I'm not on TikTok.
They own TikTok. Yet the Chinese
Gordo, bloody hell. I've just seen that comment on the telly.
Can't post what they want on there. They can't put shit on there like we do. Every video that the Chinese put up is watched, same as North Korea. Well, they've got their own internet service thing, haven't they, Korea? Yeah, it's all down to the individual countries. The only thing Elon Musk can do, which he probably will do, once space, what's the name, Skynet, whatever it's fucking called that he's got. Once that's up and running fully and he's got all the satellites up there, that will be a worldwide net. Now, he'll have something on there which will be free speech, a bit like Twitter. But any countries that say you can't, he'll just withdraw that service from them countries. They won't let them use it. I mean, he did it. Where was it? It was one of the countries that was in a minor war or something like that. He said, right, he said, you can't use it there. And he turned it off.
Wasn't it?
Right, I'm going to have to log off.
Yeah,
I've already been yelled at for being very late for dinner. So I'm going to have to log off, guys. I'm going to have to say goodnight.
Yeah, I'm not going to keep going for much longer myself.
So anyway, peace, love and respect. Thanks for having me on the panel. God bless, obviously. Yeah, details passed on, and we'll discuss fruit machines and the potential purchase privately.
I'll make a note and I'll email you.
Yeah, no dramas.
You make it sound like an OnlyFans channel. I'm going to privately message you.
I mean, I know I've got a couple of things I've got in mind. There's a couple of things I'm looking for specifically, but you know, there's a 1985 or 86 MPU for £3 jackpot arcade machine called Hit the Top. I've got fond memories of that. Similar era club machine called Multi-Stake, which is now Souls and Ed's got the £100 version, but I was after the 5p play £50 version.
You like the
£5 play, 5p play, which also pay that £100, but they're rare as fuck and silly money.
It takes you 15 years to get 50 pence win out of it.
I never used to have that problem with the multi-stake fruit machine. I used to play that now and again at the club back in 1986, 87. When it came out for a bit, I could put £1 in. I wasn't supposed to play it because I was underage, but I always got my money back and made a profit. And then some other mug put their money in.
Here's another thing.
But yeah, I'm going to have to go anyway.
Yes, Lodger.
Mate. Go and have your scram.
Okay, peace, love and respect, guys. All the best, yeah?
Take care, Graham. I'll get that email off to you.
What are you having?
Okay.
What are you having?
No dramas.
What food you having?
Chicken casserole with dumplings.
Oh, you bitch.
And it's been sort of like waiting for over an hour. I'm well late for dinner. So I'm in fucking bother.
Get here before I turn up there.
Well, that's right. I'll have to go up and eat humble pie, won't I? But anyway, later, guys.
Take it easy, buddy.
Take care, yeah? All right, cheers. Shut up.
Those that are saying they don't use TikTok, I know a lot of you aren't creators and run channels like I do. But believe it or not, CapCut, the editing suite, is also owned by China. That is connected to TikTok. Now, if you store any videos on there that you've edited, believe me, they've got them. They will watch them. A lot of people don't know that editing suite comes from there, but that is, when you edit it, you can actually, it'll automatically upload a video to TikTok if you want it to. But it is, for what's on it, it is a good editor. I mean, I use it, in fairness.
Do you think some of this China stuff is propaganda though, Rog? I mean, I install Hikvision CCTV, and there's all this hoo-ha about it. And I'll tell you what, they're the most tied-down security-based for viewing and everything company that I've ever come across. And they were so massive, they're buying up everything.
Well, this is the worry with China. Now, China invests, and has done for some time, invests heavily in this country. But what they invest in is things like the energy programs. They used to invest in the oil programs. Big industry they used to invest in. And now you've got Comrade Starmer announcing at this fucking meeting that he wants to do more business with China.
They're a powerhouse. They're making money. Although what people don't talk about is what over there, they're, you know, we have these little terrorist attacks over here. They got a massive amount of them over there. Did you see that thing about 3-4 days ago? Now, apparently the reason why the guy did it, because he was unhappy with the divorce settlement, but he drove around the stadium with his parade. At
Drove
the time,
into
probably more that he's killed, what was it, 36?
Yeah, drove straight into the crowd.
Yeah, you drove around, didn't he? The thing is, with the videos I saw, that's what I like about Twitter, is that you got these people dying on the floor, dead and stuff like that, and the majority of them will just go around filming it. And then there was one lady, I've tried to be not too graphic, some lady, she must have been in about 20, 30, and her bottoms had ripped, and it showed where it ripped over and showed on her knickers with her legs wide apart. Not one person went over and put a jacket over her or to cover her modesty. You know what I mean? That's one of the things. I know it sounds a bit weird me saying that, but for me, seeing a lady on the floor showing off her knickers and that, you want to cover up her modesty, give her a bit of, you know, and then there's another one. I think it was yesterday, outside of school, a primary school. Somebody did the same kind of thing again with a car over a dispute of money, and people are very unhappy with the government, with the finances.
The thing is, in places like China, life is cheap.
No reason.
Life is very, very cheap. And this is the same thing with a lot of the other third world countries.
Sorry, Rog.
That's all right. It looked quite good from this angle.
Yeah, I bet it did. Lisa was 2 o'clock in the morning when she's coming here. What are you doing? She goes, "Oh, you're alive." I said, "Yes."
But yeah, I mean,
I'll have to get a chair. Like, ask Heather where she got her chair and her table from. I'll have to get my missus one of those. Look at that, all nicely, neatly stacked in the back there.
I mean,
which chair and which table?
Your table and your chair.
Well, my chair's part of the suite, and this table you can pick them up from B&M.
About a tenner. They fold up flat. But they're just the right size for a laptop.
Yeah, it looks all good. It looks very comfy and part of the house. Part of the
it's the right size for a laptop and a glass of scotch.
And she looks bloody good.
Well, she's on the move now. Look to prove it.
I'm just thinking about a Abominable Snowman. Look really cozy in that, Heather.
Oh, my yeah,
Abominable snowman outfit.
my Inuit suit. But yeah, those are the tables. They're about 12-15 quid in B&M.
I used to use one for making me models on and doing my leather work and that.
Your leather work.
Yeah, oh yeah, I make
So you're
knife
clicking
sheaths.
the
Me handbag.
I make out of thick cowhide knife sheaths, pouches. So I got all the tools, the engraving tools, the stick. I do all hand stitched.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I'll have to take the thing out of it, but because obviously you can't show knives on YouTube, but you can show sheaves.
Only if you're running across London Bridge.
That's one I did for a hunting knife, a bushcraft knife.
Was that say DNA on it?
Yeah, that's why I called it DNA leather, because I always used to cut myself with the tools.
Really?
But that's all hand stitched.
How did you stitch? What? Not a machine?
No. Well, I got a pricker thing. It's got, you get a range. You can have either 8, 4, 2 little prongs on, and what you do is you scrape the groove in the leather, and you just go along and hammer this through.
Yeah, like a
and
punch.
Then you stitch it. And that one is for a big hunting knife.
So looking at a stitch, it looks almost machine. It's so perfect.
That's all hand stitched. And that was designed as one that you don't have to undo your belt to take off.
Very clever.
And then in that, you've got, I can show that, because that's a Leatherman, a multi-tool.
Yeah.
And that there is your fire stick that you scrape with the knife for starting your fires. So you got your tool.
Oh, look, there's my fire stick.
And yeah, that's all hand stitched. And
do you do the tan yourself?
Yeah, the colouring. They actually come. It's a vegetable tanned cowhide. But
do you knock those back out?
Eh?
Do you knock them back out? Do you have like a car boot sale or eBay or anything like that?
No. I started doing them for myself, and then 1 or 2 friends of ours, they asked to have one done for them. So
if you've got the time, Rog, you want to go to your local gunsmith where they sell knives and everything, maybe do a deal.
With the time it takes, mate, you wouldn't make any money on them.
I can see that because they're very good quality. Yes, Heather.
We bought half a cow so he could make himself a couple of belts and make me a handbag. He has not made a belt and he has not made a handbag.
Naughty boy, Rog.
But no, I've done a couple of other things, a couple of rifle slings and things like that. Again, this is one I can't show what's in it, but when we were on holiday a couple of years ago, Heather bought me a nice little, it's almost like a bushcraft utility knife.
Yeah.
But it came with a cheap, nasty leather sheath. So I did that one. That's got all the basket printing on the front of it.
Yeah, I like that. Have you got some kind of press?
Eh?
Have you got some kind of like press?
No, all done singular with a mallet.
Really?
Yeah.
No,
and on that one, I've put what's called a dangle, because most fixed knife sheaths with a belt loop, when you sit down or move about, it's solid with your legs. So when you sit down,
yeah.
So what you do is you make one of those. So again, you can take it off your belt without undoing your belt.
I like the tanning on it. It's really it's really good tanning on it. Where you got it, it's perfect.
Yeah, you just
Well,
use
the job there,
different coloured leather dyes.
Yeah, no, the way, yeah, it's really good. I'm not blowing up your arse, by the way. I'm just giving you credit where credit is due.
I mean, I've got my darts case, which is up in the loft at the moment, and I've also got a wallet, which has got a spider and spider web design around it. That's not
Like that.
stitched; that's riveted together.
I think Molly would like that. She likes her stuff, gothic-y, kind of creepy, crawly, witchy stuff, doesn't she?
Yeah,
Molly.
the thing is, you know, like the other one, the other pouch there, you know, you can buy those for probably 10, 15 quid. But you're
Oh, that
looking,
quality.
yeah. But
Really?
that's the thing. It's they'll use a machine rather than hand stitched, and they will use a press to thing it, but they won't mold them,
Emboss it.
mold
Emboss.
them.
Yeah, emboss. That's the word, isn't
Yeah,
it?
something like that. That one with the double stitch around it. That's probably 10 hours work.
Yeah, definitely. I
You
wouldn't
know,
disagree with that. I mean, I've
you've
had
got the
to.
designs because you've got to make templates and stuff like that. You have to construct it. If you're putting an add-on like where the Leatherman goes, you've got to think about, you've got to dye the leather on the outside first, and then you've got to put that on there because you've got to stitch it from inside as well before you can actually fold the thing over and stitch it totally. You know,
It's not easy work. That's why I was admiring it, because I've got
no.
like a old tool belt, and it's like pig leather, whatever it is, and it started to unstitch a little bit, and I went, fuck it, I just take it down to the shop in the end because I was losing my patience with it. and this woman said it'd be about a week, and she only charged me, I think, about £8 to do a few stitches, but she said it is not, you know, it's a art, isn't it? It's a trade. It's
Well, there you go, Arch.
farming.
He's saying he's easily fixed in the field. Yeah, all you need is proper wax thread.
That's it.
And actually, I was using that today because my slippers were falling apart, so I stitched them back up. But no, I got models upstairs that I scratch built. A little miniature medieval crossbow. It's only 3-4 inches long, but I've made miniature bolts for it, forged miniature arrowheads, and that will fire them the length of this room, and they will stick in a piece of wood.
Have you done a foot per second calibration on it yet? It might be over the 600 foot.
And
might be
that's
over
like the old
12
medieval, and even the little, what they call the nut on it, that was carved out of a separate piece of metal with a file.
Really?
I've got a Gatling gun up there. Again, it's only about that big.
Oh, really?
It's going to end up with a gearing on it, and the barrels turn. It won't, it won't fire anything, but it'll eject dummy shells.
Yeah.
Now, one I can show you, because it's actually a letter opener. If I can find it. There we go. Now, YouTube, this is not a weapon. This is not steel. This is a letter opener.
Oh, look at that. No, it's not a samurai. It's a
katana.
Katana. Yeah. I'd said that before you did, by the way.
And if I don't know whether it will show it.
Yeah, you can see.
The engraving on the.
Yeah, you can see it. Yeah.
That is actually a copy of a vintage one that was made thousands of years ago or whatever, and I copied the Chinese text off it, even down to putting the jewel. Even the whipping on the handle is done in the traditional style. And YouTube, that is a letter opener. Look, it's a letter opener. It's not a weapon.
Did you forge that yourself?
Yeah.
Wow.
I've got a frontier knife. Some people call them Bowie knives.
Yeah.
Now, a frontier knife, literally, it would be made from whatever you had laying around. You know, whether it was a band off the outside of a wagon wheel, anything that they used to forge into knives. And somebody said, oh, the handle's slightly offset and this, that, and the other. I said, yeah. I said, it was forged by hand using no mechanical tools. I said, and they were rough knives back then. That's what they actually looked like. So I actually replicated it with just an old bit of steel that I'd straightened and built it as they would have back in the 1800s.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and that way I class that as a genuine replica because it was made with the same sort of tools. I mean, okay, I did use a forge, a small forge, but it wasn't a bought one. It wasn't a commercial one. It was one I actually made, as Heather will attest to. She bought 2 new bread tins, and I actually made the forge out of those 2 bread tins.
Man of hidden talent. So I hope you pass these skills on to another generation. It's like with the farmers.
Some of it I have, especially on the bushcrafting side.
Some of it's too dangerous.
Yeah, some of it's too dangerous.
With the people we know.
Yeah. You know, I passed on like fire making skills with flints, steel, wood drills, how to get the fat wood, find the fat wood for kindling, how to get thinners from trees to use as antiseptic.
Wow.
You know, thinners actually came from fir trees.
Yeah.
The genuine thinners, white spirits they call it now. And that's a good antiseptic. And that actually comes from the wood that you use to start your fires because it's got the tar in it, the sap.
Yeah.
And those were the skills I passed on.
Well, at least document what you've done and then publicize
videos. I mean,
because these things are important.
That little pouch there. Now in there,
is that Dan's knapsack?
little bit of leather.
Yeah.
Flint, striker, and a little bit of what they call char cloth, which is burnt cloth heated, not burnt. So it's just black and flaky because that takes a spark. You can actually get a spark off a bit of a flint.
Like with a petrol lighter kind of thing.
Yeah, just by striking it like that, and it will glow.
It picks it quick.
So then you just put your little bit of wadding around it, blow it, you've got fire.
Yeah.
I actually did a video of me doing that out the back there. I did put it on the channel, I think, if I remember right.
To the table.
And I used a bit of hemp string, like garden string, as the actual kindling for it. And it was a bit big and it burnt quicker than I expected. And I actually set fire to the table out the back on video.
Also, Heather, your skills as well. You know, not that I'm, you know, because you're a lady and I don't want to identify you, but the things that you learned from your mother, that your mother learned from your grandmother, the cooking skills, how to make proper scones and dumplings and stews and all these. It's so important for our culture and the things that we've been brought up on that were, I mean, you look at back in the 70s and 60s on the beaches, there was no obesity. You know, we ate healthily, you know, proper butter and lard and
I've taught
sugar.
My daughter will teach my granddaughter.
Good. That's what I like to hear.
My daughter-in-law. It'll be passed on. It'll be passed on.
Well, if you look in this, I don't know whether this is the piece I saved or not. Yeah, that's a bit of fat wood, which literally all you need is a spark off of one of them steels.
Yeah.
To set a light if you shave it. But if you look inside, there's all the resin.
I was about to say, because it's got the resin in it.
Now, you can use that as a glue. It makes a waterproof glue. It's still sticky. That's been in there for 5 years.
And for wounds as well, and for wounds.
Exactly.
Aunt Stu said, what material did you use for the char cloth?
I use denim. Denim. but any cotton will do. But all my fire steels, what I do is I make a wooden handle, which is made out of fat wood. So I've got the kindling and the spot striker all in one.
All in one.
And if you
Don't
want
get that in Poundland. All minutes.
waterproof kindling that will take just a spark to set it off. Now all that is a cotton wool pad, dipped in molten wax. Literally, you bend it, snap it off, you get all the little fibres along the edge. One strike of that on there, that will burn like a candle.
Proper survivalist, you, Roger.
Garden
And I'll tell you
string.
what, I think we need that more than ever at the moment, current affairs.
Garden
Survivalist.
string. You separate the fibres. Again, you separate those, put them into a ball, flick a spark into it, instant fire.
Get me a rabbit. I'll show you how to skin it and roast it.
She's a keeper. She's a keeper.
But I taught I used to take lads up the woods and that and teach them how to do it all.
I used to do that as well. And I've been walking with them and they go, Mister, it's getting dark. I'm getting scared. And I say, I don't know what you're scared about. I'll go walk back on my own.
I had a very good mate of mine. He actually had a party. He was trying for ages to start a fire with nothing but what he had around him. And I taught him the wood drill.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And a friction one as well. Showed him how to crack the sap, the fat wood. And the day he started and built a little fire himself out of all that, he could. I mean, he's in his 40s. And he was absolutely amazed. And he went home and he taught his daughter it. You know?
That's what I like to hear.
But this is what I miss.
Like
I used to go up the woods more or less every weekend. And yeah, we'd just go up there. We'd find the fat wood, harvest some fat wood. I had I've still got it, a little twig stove, which you just feed tiny twigs in to cook on. And we'd boil up some coffee and, you know, and I'd teach him all this while we were up there.
And forage as well. Foraging.
Yeah. Well, I used to do survival courses and all that as well, Steve. But these are the things I miss now through ill health. It's, yeah, art stew. I mean, literally, and any denim. What I do is I get just a tin with a lid that's airtight. I just punch a hole in the top so the gas can escape. Roll it in there tightly. Put it in a fire, preferably in the ashes, in a hot fire, not in the flames. And when the smoke stops coming out the top, take it out, let it cool, and then you've got your char cloth. But cotton and denim is about the best you can do it with. Traditionally, it used to be done with old sails because they were like a wax.
The wax, yeah.
But it's the thickness of the cloth, the
Yeah.
cloth.
If it's too thick, it'll just char the outside, not all the way through, and it's a job to get it to spark.
It's a thicker thread. If you use a cotton shirt, it'll disintegrate. It's too thin.
Yeah. The other one, which is one a lot of people don't do, and they've tried it, and for some reason they can't do it. I always used to keep out of a previous fire. If there was a bit of wood that was burnt, you know, you get the burn down on the end, probably an inch thick. That burnt end of that stick will take a spark off a flint and it will start to glow. And there are roots that you can keep that will just smolder for hours. So if you want to walk off somewhere, you take that with you and you just use that wherever you get to spark your next one. But it's all experience, you know. We done escape and evade. I did a 10-day in the wild course, you know, no waterproofs. Literally what you had on your belt was all you had. to survive for 10 days. We did
get
oh yeah, passed through that one. The last one I actually did, we got thrown off.
Why?
It was a military-based one. Escape and evade, they call it.
Yeah.
So basically, if you built a fire, it had to be smokeless. Anything you did around you, you had to make sure that if you moved on, it couldn't be seen. Leave no trace.
Yeah.
But what they did, because it was a 10-day one for safety, the instructors used to come round and check on you every few days. You had a radio for emergency calls, obviously. But he came round and checked I think it was the second check after about 6 days. Now, you're used to seeing on these courses, people lose a bit of weight, they get a bit straggly and what have you. And he said, well, you boys seem all right because you always do it in pairs. You never do it alone.
Yeah.
And he said, you boys seem well fed.
Did you say that's going to got Deliveroo?
No, he found a few feathers around where we pitched. And he's like, what's these? And then he found the chickens that we had. Now, first question was, where did you get the chickens? I said, from a farm about 5 miles that way. He said, well, technically that's cheating. I said, well, how is it?
No, it's not.
If you're escaping and you're evading, if you can steal a couple of chickens, yeah, I mean, we went back and left the farmer some money to pay for them. But I said, that's the idea of escape and evade. It's not survival. It's escape and evade and keep yourself fed. And the biggest waste on the survival course and things like that is wasting energy.
Yeah.
If you haven't got the food to replace that energy, you get weaker and weaker as the time goes by.
So you're going to fail. It defeats the whole object of the exercise.
So we thought we'd have a good feed and we grabbed a couple of chickens.
Why
and
not?
they threw us off.
I would have appealed that.
But I mean, I'd been doing it for years. It was just a lad wanted to do it, and I took him with me on one of the 10-day ones. It was quite funny. Yes, art stew, you can do it with certain funguses if they're dried for carrying an ember. I've never seen that many of them in this country. I've never done the fungus one. But yeah, there's lots of things you can learn like that. And we started doing it when we were doing the woodsman work back home, looking after the livestock and stuff like that. You'd go out in the woods for 2 or 3 days. You'd be trying to catch poachers and what have you. And it's an art that's not passed on. It's a dying art.
That's what I'm concerned about. That's what's kept it alive. It's like, Roger, there's beware the old soldier. He's old for a reason.
Yep. It's and it's my generation is probably the last ones that taught. Even the military don't teach you some of the stuff that we know and we learn. They're all compo rations. And the military used to do proper survival courses. I don't know whether they still do, but but yeah, I mean, we used to do all that sort of stuff. But again, it's you look at kids today; they don't even know where half their food come from.
Aldi's, McDonald's.
Yeah, it comes in a plastic bag from the supermarket. They wouldn't know how to pluck and draw a chicken. They certainly wouldn't know how to catch and skin a rabbit. We've eaten rat. You can eat rat as long as you've cleaned it properly.
Yeah.
Blackbirds, snake, although we've got no real what you'd class as edible snakes in this country, but you could.
If it burns, it's energy, and energy keeps you alive.
Yeah, it's you know, it's things that generations have lost. You know, it's like we were brought up in a generation where you didn't pay to get your car fixed; you did it yourself.
Still do. Some of us still do.
Yeah,
I
you
do.
know.
But,
But-
you can only do that with an old vehicle. You
Yeah,
can't
you can't do
with
it with a
new
modern
one.
vehicle because they're all tuned by laptop. You know, if
Which I've got the Bluetooth that I plug into my car. What's it called? The oh fucking hell, what's the man made? Anyway, so I can
diagnostic port.
diagnostics, and it'll tell me what's wrong with it. Why say like something's what was it? We drove down to the Isle of Wight. Oh, what? I've got to tell you, forgot.
Yeah, but with those, you can get the code of what the problem is.
Yeah,
You
Google
can
it.
stop the light flashing, but it doesn't fix the problem.
No, this one. Like say like what was it? I took all the car seats out of the car, all 7 of them, because it's fucking minging. And the carpet had gone all bubbled, so I got my clippers. I went through the car and I used the clippers, made it all nice and new again. No, I'm OCD, you know what I'm like. And then when I put the seats back in, it said about the airbags because you disconnected the airbags.
Mm.
I don't want to go to the garage. I just reset it on my phone. Or when we was driving back from the Isle of Wight, I was ranting it, and it's saying that the turbo was under boosted. It hasn't done it since, but any issues, I can reset them on. You can reset them. What do I use? ODB11. Fucking brilliant. And you can, with this ODB11, when I bought it with the software, I only paid 60 quid for it. You can enable, when you buy a new car, you can have all these extra features enabled, and you don't enable them. You can enable them with the phone. You know, it's fucking easy these days. But going back to the Isle of Wight briefly, that's, as you know, back in the day, I've spoken to before, and you know, it's my bolt hole, 1950s Britain. We went there 4 months ago, still the same, beautiful place. People say good morning to you and afternoon, and, you know, thank you for pulling over in a little country lane. Oh, wow. In the past 4 months, it's changed, Rog. Rog, I've never seen so many Turkish barbers and kebab shops down it. It's changed in 4 months.
I was going to say, where's this? I want to go.
The Isle of Wight is a beautiful, amazing place. I was going to move down there. It's like the last place for anyone who wants to feel English to go to. It's still really good.
If
it's still very good.
Simon,
it's still very good, Heather. But I've noticed a massive infection of Turkish barbers down there. And the cheeky bastards as well will do like several down one little quiet country town village. But they're doing it next to traditional ones that have been there forever and putting their prices down.
All right, Budge.
We don't have any Turkish barbers where we go, do we?
Replying to Art Stew there. Some are legal, some aren't. Deadfall traps aren't. As far as I know, they're not legal in this country if you're even hunting pests. Some of the sprung ones, the triggers,
outside a hotel,
that are like what would you call them? A sprung snare. Some of those are legal, depending on where you put them. Obviously, gin traps are totally illegal in this country now.
Yeah.
But basically, anything that can hurt a human is illegal.
Or
gin
child.
traps was because they're people's pets were getting it, and they're actually cruel. But obviously, I don't even know if snares are still legal, to be honest.
I haven't seen this. There's a video a little while ago on one of these, I think, X or something, where somebody put a snare and a fox had got caught in it. It's in England because the guy is an English accent. I don't agree with them. I mean, if you're trapping right near to it and you're doing it for food to survive, yeah.
The worst thing they do with the fox is a fox, if it's got its leg caught in a trap, it will chew its own leg off to release itself.
Gnaw it off. I mean, I don't know about your views. I like foxes. Any food that's left over, it goes out there. You've seen my cameras before, And some nights across the road from me on the green bit we got, they sit there waiting for the food to come out. But when the food comes and they come over, they start having a scrap. They're quite territorial, aren't they?
Did you
But-
know a fox? You know, people say, "Oh, we had a fox in the chicken coop." If you don't catch it or you disturb it, it will empty the coop. It's one of the only animals that will take as much as it can to store the food while it's there. If you've got 4 chickens in there, it will take a chicken, come back, get another one, keep coming back and getting another one. It will store that food. It won't just take one to eat and that's it.
Bit like COVID with the toilet rolls.
Yeah. You'd think people were trying to survive on them with the amount they bought, wouldn't you?
Oh my word.
Yeah, I do believe all snares are illegal.
1 second, back in 3.
The glue traps for mice and that. I don't know about them, Gordo. I've never used one. I've never seen them on sale over here either. They still use them in America.
I was going to say, somebody was saying about sticky traps in the greenhouse.
Yeah, they use them for slugs and insects and that, but you can get the bigger ones. They're called glue traps.
Yeah.
For rats and mice.
Someone was saying they'd had those. They used those in their shed recently. So.
But cats can
available
get
to
stuck
buy.
to them as well. You know, they don't actually get caught in them, but they wander around with them on and they can't get them off. The only way you can do it is shave the cat. But yeah, sticky traps, I'm not too sure about. Like I said, I haven't done a lot of this or kept up with it for a couple of years since my health has been failing.
Well, I can buy a sheet of sticky stuff for 13, 14 quid off the internet for trapping rats and things.
Yeah, I wash my hands.
Yeah, Gordo. Basically, there was a lot of hoo-ha over them because they are cruel. Obviously, there's a lot of suffering. But there was one video I watched where someone built the electronic rat trap.
Ah, yeah, I've seen
where
that.
they walk on and it electrocutes them.
Yeah.
They walk on a plate, like an electrified plate, and it electrifies them. And there was one, I don't know whether it's still on YouTube, where they videoed a rat being killed by it, because it is almost instant, it's electrocution. And another rat set it off and died on it. But because that activated the circuit, it was like giving the old paddles to the rat that was on there originally, and that one recovered and jumped off. But there was one where it's not exactly a trap. It's more an amusement, and it doesn't hurt them. I was going to build a squirrel chucker.
What's that?
There's several different versions of it. You can use bungee straps, springs, but basically you have like a bowl. Some of them were baskets, laundry baskets, and you have you pull it back, stretch it out, obviously get the tension on it, put a bit of bait in for the squirrel to get in, and you sit there watching it, and you pull the release string, and it would fire the squirrel up the garden.
Oh.
But this guy was doing it that often in his garden. The squirrels were using it like a toy. They were coming up to get fired up the garden.
Alton Towers.
There was another one, fired one out into a lake. Yeah, I was going to build because we got squirrels here. I put a video up the other day.
Yeah, I saw it on the fence, wasn't it? Two of them.
Yeah, I sit here looking at them out the window every morning.
Yeah, we get a lot of squirrels around here, Rog. There's only one time we've had a rat, and that's the other day. I got like I call it Lucille, but it's from Walking Dead. But it's one of those oil drums with holes drilled into it as an incinerator.
Yeah.
And we had a build up of cardboard and loads of shit. So I went out to the garden. It's in the corner. I rolled it round over into the centre of the patio. I put a big piece of slate underneath it to raise it up, not to scorch the patio. And I got one of those long weed burner things. You know, you turn it on and a little flame comes out. So I clicked it, put it right down into the bottom of the all the cardboard wraps. It comes up. As I'm doing that, I screamed like a little girl. Fucking this rat jumped out of there, jumped up onto the top, then jumped onto me, and then rebounced. I chased a little cunt around the garden with this flamethrower. The only problems we have, because we're right by the woods, is mice. I got those little traps where they walk in, and then the door goes down, and I drive about a mile up the road to release them, because you can't release them near your house because they seem to come back. But we get foxes, badgers, hedgehogs, herons, owls, everything. That's the only thing we didn't get is rats.
Watch this one. It's only a 30-second video.
Oh, the squirrel chucker.
This is the one into the lake. Bing!
Oh, they can't swim.
Yeah, they can.
No, because right in the back garden, I had a big pool up for the kids.
There you go. Back up.
Oh, we got across the road from us in our green. We got Sarah Squirrel. She's got like a grave with a cross on it with flowers. What happened was the squirrel ran along the fence, fell down, and the kids had one of those inflatable pools up. And I played back the CCTV. Oh, I felt so bad. I was at home as well, but I was doing something else. The little fucker was swimming around so much, just exhaustion, and died. So we buried her across the road. We had a proper funeral for her. Sarah the squirrel.
Trying to find another one here.
Yeah, they can swim as long as they can get out.
Yeah, she couldn't get out. She must have got tired. I'm assuming her gender, by the way. I didn't go down and have a look.
No, that's the problem with like paddling pools and things.
Yeah.
Animals can't get out. I was up local Chase, and there was a kids paddling pool, boating pool, and there was a hedgehog in there, and because it was straight sides, it couldn't get out. So
how the hell did it get in there in the first place, Heather? How did it get in there in the first place? How did the hedgehog get in there in the first place?
I don't know, but it may have been that it fell over the edge, but it couldn't get back out. And that's what will kill them. So, I shoes and socks off, in for a paddle, and out it came, and left it. It was fine. But that's what will kill them with things like paddling pools and boating ponds, is that there is no way out.
No. Rules in space. That's evil.
Oh, Roger loves these things.
I'll tell you what I'm watching. You know the ratters, the ratters, when they go around the farms with about a pack of 20 dogs. Oh, I love them. Call me what you want. I got guns like you, but I don't mind shit. I don't kill any squirrels or anything else unless you've got to survive to eat. But rats, when you get the helicopter on the tails, when you get the headshot, I don't know why it's pleasing. But those rat packers, I think it's the Sheffield Rat Pack, I think they're called. 900 to 1,000 rats in one day. That's chipmunks.
Yeah, but that's a leaf blower. He's put feed up inside the leaf.
No. Oh, poor little fucker. Look. Watch it.
I used to watch hours of
You
them.
don't know you go to hell for laughing. That was quite funny.
Right, with
It's
that,
like
guys,
a
I'm going to have to knock it on the head, mate. That's 10 o'clock.
Thank you.
I've kept going.
I've got to go and eat some food in a minute. She's going, you can't have dinner in a minute.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'll
I'm
be in a
going to
minute.
have a bit of supper before I go to bed.
Right. Heather, good night, my darling. Look after yourself. Oh, you look so warm in that. Anyway, Roger, you take care, mate. Stay
Likewise,
safe.
mate.
Go on then.
Likewise.
Go on then.
I'll pass your number on to Graham tomorrow.
Thank you very much. Have a good evening, Roger. Thank you very much for everyone on the panel. I've enjoyed tonight. I can't believe I've got 2 times in a row. It might be third time lucky and not get me.
Well,
Right,
I did a
care,
few
guys.
weeks ago. I opened a panel up and nobody came up, so I stopped doing it. But then last week I thought I'll open it up for a little while. So, but usually
Good
around
night,
10
everyone in the
o'clock
chat.
I'll flag anyway.
Gordo 2, you've had me in stitches tonight. Thank you. You must be Googling it. 'Cause either
But
that or get on fucking stage, mate. You're funny.
He is a good one.
Yeah.
All right, and
Take
guys,
care, guys. Look after yourselves. 3, 2,
take
1.
care,
I'm
buddy.
gone.
Take care, Si.
Thank you, everybody, for coming in as usual. And obviously, thank you for all the respect you've shown each other, as well as me, obviously. Don't forget, Heather will probably be live Friday night. Even my voice is going now. I'm surprised I've lasted this long, actually. But be careful out there. Keep warm. It's going to be cold for the next few days. We got a big cold snap coming in. That's moving up from the West Country probably tomorrow. But until then, as always, stay safe, stay strong, and stay free. Take care, guys.
Good night, all. Catch you Friday.
Bye. Press the right button.